Chapter 24:18, I won't see anyone. The crowd was even more astonished than when the gigantic golden ape had killed Xiong Lin, a high-level saint. Lin Feng had disappeared dozens of years. When he had left, he was still a cultivator of the Huang Qi layer. He had dazzled during the Pathfinder Day of the Imperial ranking list, then he had finished first at the meeting of the Continent of the Nine Clouds. He had come back and destroyed some ancient holy clans, but the crowd mainly remembered Lin Feng as a cultivator of the Huang Qi layer, and later as a great emperor. A few decades was nothing to become a saint. Saints were legendary cultivators, and especially a level 2 saint. The inhabitants of the holy city didn't even dare imagine that, but Lin Feng had done it. Lin Feng had just killed a low-level saint in front of them, not to mention a saint who was at the top of a powerful group in the holy city, the Celestial Martial Dynasty. The saint of the Celestial Martial Dynasty was dead, so the Celestial Martial Dynasty would probably collapse at some point. The crowd looked at Lin Feng and at the members of Tiantai. Tiantai was going to continue rising. When a man attains the Tao, even his pets ascend to heaven. Lin Feng had attained enlightenment, so Tiantai rode on his success, too. The golden ape was surprised, he hadn't thought that Lin Feng was so strong. This guy had managed to become the new leader of the Star World, he didn't have an undeserved reputation. Mu Chen, Emperor Yu, and the others were stunned, gaping at Lin Feng. They had never thought Lin Feng would be so talented, he had changed so quickly. Little Lin Feng, I'm really surprised, said Mu Chen, taking a deep breath. Indeed, I still remember everything we went through, the Qi Tian Peak, the meeting of the emperors. Back then he made a great show of your talents, and then we came to the great world, and continued being oppressed. However, little Lin Feng continued rising, he became stronger and stronger. Back then, I still didn't think he'd become a saint so quickly. I hadn't thought a saint would appear in Tiantai, to be honest. Emperor Yu was astonished. His disciple was a saint. It was like a dream. I want to be like my teacher, said Yi Chen, clenching his fists. He felt so weak. Uncle Lin Feng is so strong. Lang Yen was astonished and pleasantly surprised. Tiantai was so lucky. The crowd forgot all about the Celestial Martial Dynasty and their grand ceremony. I never thought Lin Feng would already be so strong, sighed Do Zhanseng. He was proud and talented, but he felt like an insect in front of Lin Feng. Lin Feng turned around and looked at the members of the Celestial Martial Dynasty. He said calmly, I don't care about the Celestial Martial Dynasty. However, I will destroy all those who betrayed Tiantai. All the members of the Celestial Martial Dynasty shook. They felt ridiculous, insignificant, and ashamed. Teachers, let's go back, said Lin Feng, smiling at Emperor Yu and Mu Chen. Go, back to Tiantai, said Emperor Yu smiling. Unfortunately, your fellow disciples are not here, otherwise, we would have a big party. Yes, we'll have other opportunities, though. We must do something together, Lin Feng smiled. He looked at Ancestor Shi Tian, Ancestor, come to Tiantai with us. All right, said Ancestor Shi Tian, smiling and nodding along. Lin Feng's social status was different now, he had become a king. He could now be more informal with the ancestors. In the cultivation world, strength set the base for politeness and respect, not age. Of course, Lin Feng was usually polite, but he didn't feel awkward or embarrassed either. Some people were embarrassed and felt awkward at that moment, though, such as Ancestor Zhu Tian. The atmosphere in Tiantai was great and lively. Mu Chen, Emperor Yu, Lin Feng, Tantai, Yun Qin Yen, Qin Wu, Yi Chen, Lang Yen, and many others were all together at the heart of Tiantai. Ancestor Xian Tian, Ancestor Shi Tian, and the others didn't have assigned seats, so they sat wherever they wanted. Everybody was chatting happily. Lin Feng, how did you practice cultivation and become a saint? Asked Yun Qin Yen. Her eyes were twinkling. She was curious. Just like that, said Lin Feng, shrugging and laughing. Tell us about saints then. We've never met saints before, we've never properly chatted with one. We don't even know what kind of strength saints control, said Yun Qin Yen. Yes, Lin Feng, please tell us about saints. We've been saint emperors for so long, and we're not able to transcend worldliness and attain holiness. Maybe the only person of Champion University who became a saint was the founder. He didn't write anything about it, though, said Ancestor Shi Tian. He was curious, too. All right, Lin Feng agreed. You all know what it's like to be a great emperor. However, to become a saint, you must understand what celestial Tao is. That kind of strength can't be studied formally, you must transcend worldliness to understand. When you understand it, you have the impression you have returned to your true self, you are one with nature, and your body becomes nature. Then, when you fuse strength together with celestial Tao, it creates a saint's technique. That way, you create your own saint's techniques. That's when you become a proper half-saint, and when you transcend worldliness and attain holiness. When you're a half-saint and want to become a low-level saint, you need to understand one sort of original strength: gold, wood, water, fire, earth, death, soundwave, and so forth. Anything is possible. Cosmic energy and Tao are original strengths, and celestial Tao is a more advanced version of those. You understand when you have an advanced comprehension and knowledge of energies. Heavy strength and oppressive strength and earth strength all belong to the same category, earth original strength. Ice strength, frost strength, and rain strength all belong to the same category as well, water original strength. When you understand one type, you can carry out terrifying attacks, you can fuse original strength together with celestial Tao. When you manage to do that, you become a low-level saint. The saint of the celestial martial dynasty understood a water-type original strength, ice and frost strength. He fused it together with celestial Tao, and that's how he created the ice throne. He could have easily killed a half-saint, but it was far from enough for him to become a high-level saint. For that, your original strength must reach the maximum level. For example, you need to understand every earth-type strength to make your earth original strength reach the maximum level: heavy strength, oppressive strength, earth defense strength, and so on. Then, when you understand properly, your original strength reaches the maximum level. I haven't been able to do it yet. Regarding peerless saints, it's even more complicated. Many high-level saints understand many types of original strengths at the maximum level and don't become peerless saints like the golden ape. To become a peerless saint, you must fuse special kinds of original strength together. Everybody was carefully listening to Lin Feng. It was fascinating, he was telling them about legendary saints. Making one type of original strength reach its maximum level sounded like something extremely difficult. Saints were not from the same world as them anymore. Teacher, when you made me dream and practice cultivation, was that intent original strength? Asked Lang Yen. Indeed, Lin Feng confirmed. No wonder. I could sense that my Tao had broken through, but I also knew that kind of strength in the dream was unreachable for me at the moment. I need to practice cultivation more. I hope I'll become as strong as you someday, teacher. You will have opportunities, Lin Feng smiled. He looked at Mu Chen and Emperor Yu. Teachers, Tiantai went through a lot this time. Please select some of Tiantai's disciples, people who are motivated, talented, loyal to Tiantai, and even if they're not very talented, some who are very determined, wise, and kind. I want to give them a lecture. I want to help them. Mu Chen was surprised, but nodded approvingly. All right, it'll definitely help them. Can we also attend your lecture? You're flattering me, teacher, said Lin Feng, smiling wryly. He definitely wanted to help his two teachers, but not by giving them a lecture. Even though his teachers were willing to attend, Lin Feng couldn't accept. He had the impression it was disrespectful. Lin Feng, we also want to attend your class, Ancestor Shi Tian said to Lin Feng. No problem, ancestors, Lin Feng agreed. Lin Feng, Zhu Tian wants to come and apologize, said Ancestor Shi Tian. He did it once already, but he's petty and miserable. I am a student of Champion University, but I can't tolerate seeing petty people at the top of the hierarchy in Champion University, replied Lin Feng calmly. The ancestors were surprised, but not much. They nodded, we understand. I want to report something, said someone at that moment. That person was standing at the gate. Speak, replied Mu Chen. The new leader of the Celestial Martial Dynasty, as well as some founding members, are here with some people who betrayed Tian Tai. They're here to apologize, said that person. The crowd understood how the Celestial Martial Dynasty felt. They were afraid of Lin Feng. They even came to apologize. They all looked at Lin Feng, and Lin Feng said, I'm not seeing them. Just tell them 3 words, conduct yourselves well. Yes, replied the disciple. The crowd shuddered. Those who had betrayed Tian Tai were probably going to go through hardships. Also, I heard that the Canaan dynasty's saint wanted to come to pay you a visit, said the disciple. The crowd shook again. A saint wanted to come to pay them a visit? Tell them that I won't receive guests for 7 days. They can come in 7 days and after, said Lin Feng. The disciple bowed and left. People were astonished. A saint wanted to come and pay Lin Feng a visit, and Lin Feng just said he wouldn't see anyone for 7 days. How incredible! The ancestors of Champion University were astonished, too. If they hadn't met Lin Feng when he was much weaker, they would have never met him. Chapter 24:19, Lecture in the central part of Tian Tai was a field. Many disciples gathered there, they standing in 2 gigantic lines. Between them were praying mats. They all looked at a young man with admiration. He was wearing white clothes, he looked clean, calm, and composed. However, everybody knew that that young man could kill low-level saints easily. He had destroyed some shrines' members, too. He had also refused to see a saint because he was busy. He was a living legend. Now he was going to teach them some concepts, how incredible. One could well imagine how happy the crowd was. I've heard that Brother Lang Yen received some knowledge from him, that's how he defeated Shi Xian. He progressed a lot after receiving Teacher Lin Feng's transmissions. In a few seconds, he can probably make you progress more than you would in 10 years by practicing really hard. Thought someone. Such opportunities were extremely rare. Sit down, said Lin Feng, smiling patiently. He didn't sound stuffy at all, rather amiable and casual, but the disciples were nervous. They all sat down on the praying mats and looked at Lin Feng. You all have different cultivation levels. You all practice different types of cultivation. I can't make a uniform lecture for you. However, I want to say a few things. When I started practicing cultivation, my cultivation level was much lower than yours. I started at the Qi layer. Back in the days, I admired cultivators. For me, cultivators of the Xian Qi layer and the Tian Qi layer were extraordinary cultivators. Such levels were out of reach for me. If I hadn't thought that way, I don't think I would have progressed at all. I would have never become a Tian level cultivator. But now I'm a saint, what is the Tian Qi layer to me? Lin Feng began calmly. People were shaking. Indeed, they couldn't forget that Lin Feng used to be extremely weak back in the days. He had admired other people, too. Now he was much powerful than the people of the Tian Qi layer whom he had admired once. Don't think that you can't surpass me even if you are slow-witted. Never give up, grand talents mature slowly. Many people are slow-witted, but they still have good aptitudes, they practice slowly, but they can also become very strong. Talent is helpful until a certain point, that's all. Talent cannot determine which cultivation level you'll reach in your life, what does is your heart, said Lin Feng. Many people felt extremely determined. Your heart, that's your intent. Your intent makes you unbreakable. You can bend, but not break. But you also need to be realistic. Cultivation is something you do step by step. You must be determined to become better each day. Someday, you'll reach the end. Phew, people were extremely excited, they all breathed quickly. Their hearts were pounding, reach the end. Alright, I just wanted to tell you those things. If you have any question, you can ask me, smiled Lin Feng. Don't feel ill at ease, ask me anything. Teacher, said a bald young man standing up quickly. Everybody looked at him, he looked nervous and kept scratching his head. Teacher, I'm so nervous, sorry. I am now a high-level emperor, I understand Earth cosmic energy. However, I can't understand Tao. How do I understand Tao and how do I know which Tao is mine? Most people understood Tao when they were great emperors, but some talented and outstanding young people understood Tao when they were still emperors, like Lin Feng, Chu Chunqiu, and Ji Chang had back in the days. Come here and use your best strength to attack me. Let me sense your cosmic energies, said Lin Feng to that young man. He was surprised and nodded. Teacher, I don't want to be disrespectful. He bowed before Lin Feng and attacked him. A powerful heavy strength moved towards Lin Feng. The bald young man's fist became as heavy as a mountain, his strength was oppressive like an avalanche. Of course, it couldn't do anything to Lin Feng. Lin Feng stood up and the bald young man sensed an oppressive strength surround him. It was painful. His strength is 1,000,000,000 times more powerful than mine, it's also a type of cosmic energy, thought the bald young man. Lin Feng moved towards him, surrounding him with the force of a landslide and the power of a tidal wave. It was as if the earth had oppressed him. Tao is an accumulation. To understand Tao, you must accumulate enough strength. You can't just study and learn Tao like this. I first understood life and death Tao. I remember, when I understood Tao, I was on the battlefield of the celestial country. I killed many, many strong cultivators before understanding Tao. There were mountains of corpses around me. Other people can only give you pieces of advice regarding Tao, but they can't help you find your Tao. Everybody listened to Lin Feng. As Lin Feng walked towards the young man, the strength became too oppressive, and he fell down on his butt. When the strength disappeared, he closed his eyes and visualized the strength Lin Feng had just used, the pure earth intent he had released. You're worth teaching, smiled Lin Feng. He walked back to his original seat. He had helped the bald young man sense the strength he studied, so now he had to study it on his own. Lin Feng couldn't study for him. Teacher Lin Feng is teaching us personally, we have to seize this opportunity. It's extremely rare, realized many disciples. Teacher, I'm a low-level emperor, and I've been stuck at this level for a very long time. I can't break through. What to do? Asked someone, standing up. How long haven't you gone traveling? Asked Lin Feng. 2 years. During those 2 years, you only practiced and meditated alone, and you haven't broken through? Asked Lin Feng. Indeed, I can't break through. I can sense my cosmic energies are powerful enough, though. Come here, said Lin Feng casually. That student walked towards Lin Feng. Suddenly, Lin Feng moved like the wind, a terrifying strength surrounded that cultivator and corroded his intent. He had the impression he was going to die. He didn't have time to react, but it was an opportunity too. If he were slightly stronger, he would be able to dodge. No, shouted that student, furiously. Then, he moved with the wind, changing his position and releasing humming sword lights all around himself. But he still felt danger closing on him. Another wave of chi rolled towards him. It descended from the sky and moved towards his shoulders as fast as lightning. Wind. That cultivator released wind strength and moved as fast as he could, but as soon as he dodged, more strength moved towards him. It didn't stop, strength kept attacking him. At the same time, he looked at Lin Feng, who was already seated on a praying mat. The crowd was astonished. That disciple was fighting against nothing in a frenzy. He looked crazy. He has the impression he's going to die. It's definitely an illusion. The goal is to unleash his full potential as if he were about to die. The teacher is oppressing him, he has to dodge, if he doesn't he will die. The crowd understood. The teacher wanted to see how long he would persevere. At that moment, the air hummed, and a stronger chi rolled out. The crowd frowned. I broke through. The illusion disappeared, and the disciple stopped awkwardly. His cosmic energies hummed around him. He was astonished as he understood what was happening to him. He bowed before Lin Feng and said, "Thank you very much, teacher." "You understand now?" asked Lin Feng. "I understand. You oppressed me, but it wasn't real. It just made me think I was going to die. I had only two options, surpass myself and break through, or die." "Indeed. Die, or break through. But to achieve that, you must have reached a certain level too, your cosmic energies had to be at the top already. This time, you only needed a little bit of pressure. To achieve that, you need to go out and travel. That's why cultivators travel all the time, you need to fight against enemies to become stronger. Risking your life is often part of the game. That's how you unleash your full potential, when your enemies oppress you." Everybody listened carefully. Lin Feng taught new things to everyone. That lecture lasted for 3 days. However, for them, it felt as if they had saved 30 years. Everybody was in awe of Lin Feng. It was incredible to spend time with a legendary cultivator. They would always respect him, they would never betray Tiantai, they owed Tiantai for this chance. Chapter 24:20, Flying to the Top. After the lecture, Lin Feng gave his teachers many spells, skills, techniques, and weapons. He only gave them great ones. He even gave them some saints' weapons he had obtained after killing people. "Little Lin Feng, those things are good because you're in Tiantai, but if you're not here, people will annihilate us for those items. Like when you gave Lang Yen a saint's weapon in front of everybody, that was scary." "Do you really think it's a good thing for Lang Yen to have a saint's weapon?" asked Mu Chen, easily seeing the problem. "Teacher, I understand what you mean. I also thought about that, that's why I gave Lang Yen a protective saint's weapon. He can't use it to attack, he can only use to protect himself. Most cultivators can't do anything to him. When I'm traveling, I will leave 9 low-level bestial saints here to protect Tiantai. They will become Tiantai's protectors. I'm sure they'll be able to protect Tiantai for thousands of years, no matter what happens. High-level saints are unlikely to come to the lower world. 9 bestial saints as protectors." Mu Chen and Emperor Yu were astonished. "All right, indeed, nobody can do anything to Tiantai with such cultivators, unless shrines come personally. The fire shrine is the shrine with which I have the most problems. I kidnapped a descendant of the fire shrine, that's why they don't dare try anything too risky. They will probably not try anything for the time being. In the future, if my relations with the fire shrine worsen, I will take care of Tiantai." "All right, sounds like a plan," said Mu Chen, smiling and nodding. "In less than 100 years, Tiantai will become one of the strongest groups, I think." "Teacher, do you have any news from my fellow disciples?" asked Lin Feng. Mu Chen and Emperor Yu remained silent. Lin Feng looked at their expressions and asked, "What is going on, and what are you hiding from me, teachers? Tell me." "Little Lin Feng, Tian Qi is, Mu Chen sighed. Lin Feng's face stiffened. "What's wrong with him?" "There's a Buddhist mountain in the holy city, the legend says you need to climb up 99,999 steps to achieve enlightenment as a Buddhist cultivator. You've heard of that legend, right?" "Indeed." Lin Feng nodded. The first time he had arrived in the holy city, Huang Fulong and Tantai had told him about it. It was said that those who had needed the least time to get to the top had done it in 3 years, it was impossible to do it by flying. The cultivators who tried died. There was also another legend which said that there was a peerless Buddha at the top, but that many people who managed to get to the top became peerless demons. Tian Chi had tried to climb up that mountain many times, he had also failed repeatedly. Tian Chi managed to get to the top. He didn't become a Buddha, he became a demon. He came back once, kowtowed 3 times banging his head on the ground, then he said he had nothing to do with his teachers and fellow disciples anymore, said Mu Chen. It was horrible for him to think about. Tian Chi was one of his direct disciples, like a son to him. Tian Chi used to be gentle and soft, and now he had become a demon, so he had decided to break off all ties. When did that happen? Lin Feng asked grimly. Just before the Canaan dynasty started rising. It is said that the rising of the Canaan dynasty has something to do with the Buddhist mountain, said Mu Chen. Where is Tian Chi? Asked Lin Feng. I don't know. I haven't heard anything from him since he left. Lin Feng frowned. He gazed into the distance and suddenly shouted, Canaan dynasty's leader, hurry up and come to Tiantai to see me. Everybody in the holy city heard his voice. The ground trembled at his words. Canaan dynasty's leader, hurry up and come to Tiantai to see me, his voice echoed for a long time. Many people raised their heads and shuddered in fear. That was probably Lin Feng's voice, he was the only one who could shout so loudly and especially make the leader of the Canaan dynasty come to Tiantai. Many people sighed, at that cultivation level, people seemed to belong to another world. Nothing could stop them. As expected, after a short time, a group of people from the Canaan dynasty arrived and stopped outside of Tiantai. They didn't land, someone directly said icily, what is the Canaan dynasty's relationship with the Buddhist mountain? Those people looked at Lin Feng in surprise. The leader of the group was the saint, he was startled too. He had watched Lin Feng had directly kill the celestial martial dynasty's saint during the grand ceremony, so he didn't want to offend him. At the beginning, the Canaan dynasty was the Canaan Buddhist clan, then a disciple climbed up the mountain and obtained a sutra. Then, he practiced really hard, and that's what happened, someone said to Lin Feng. You want to die, shouted Lin Feng icily. A strong wind blew past and beheaded that person. Blood splashed, and he died instantly. The others' faces turned deathly pale. If you continue lying, I'll kill you all, said Lin Feng icily. He said to the saint, speak. The saint tried to keep calm. He said to Lin Feng, I'm the cultivator of the Buddhist mountain he meant, then I came down, I went to the Canaan Buddhist clan and I granted them many techniques. Then I changed their name. You're a Buddhist monk, you're not a demon cultivator, asked Lin Feng icily. He looked startled and said, Buddhism is demon cultivation. Go. Bring me to the Buddhist mountain, said Lin Feng coldly. The saint said, you want to walk up the mountain? I want to fly straight to the top, replied Lin Feng. You don't respect the big Buddha, said that person, smiling coldly. If Buddhism is demon cultivation, Buddhists need respect. Besides, if I'm strong enough, what is Buddha in front of me? Said Lin Feng aggressively. The crowd was trembling around them. Buddhism was demon cultivation. If I'm strong enough, what is Buddha in front of me? Since it's that way, you and me will get to the top. He rose up in the air and flew away. Lin Feng glanced at the members of the Canaan dynasty icily and turned into a beam of light. According to legends, to achieve Buddhist enlightenment, it was necessary to climb up the stairs. People who flew and landed at the top died. However, Lin Feng considered himself strong enough to fly straight to the top. He could kill low-level saints easily, but what about the Peerless Buddha of the legends? Lin Feng didn't care about legends. In the holy city, many people's figures flickered. They flew towards the Buddhist mountain. Was Lin Feng going to land at the top of the mountain? The Buddhist mountain was surrounded by water. People usually arrived by boat. At that moment, two figures were flying high up in the sky. The leader of the Canaan dynasty stopped and said to Lin Feng, "I must stop here. If you can pass, I'll follow you. Let's see who's purposely making a mystery of a simple thing and terrifying the inhabitants of the holy city," said Lin Feng, rolling up his sleeves. He didn't believe in Buddha and demons, he just believed in strength. If a Buddha wasn't strong, who would believe in them? At the top of the mountain, there had to be a strong cultivator. Lin Feng didn't care about him, but this time his friend had a problem, so he had to help. His friend had even decided to break off ties with his friends and teachers. That was too strange. A powerful energy filled the air and surrounded Lin Feng. Lin Feng was not surprised. As expected, saint strength. No wonder nobody could fly to the top. But now he had decided to break the rule. Lin Feng continued walking slowly. The atmosphere was oppressive. Then, Buddha lights rolled out and Lin Feng heard someone chant a mantra in a magnificent Brahma voice. A peerless golden Buddha appeared. He kept chanting endlessly. Many people raised their heads. As expected, there was a peerless Buddha protecting the mountain. Nobody had ever dared fly straight to the top, but Lin Feng dared. Chapter 24-21, Situation. Lin Feng raised his head and heard the Buddhist cultivator shout loudly. The atmosphere trembled. He had the impression his soul was going to explode. However, Lin Feng shouted out too, and the force of his voice dashed to the skies and collided with the Buddhist cultivator's loud shout. However, it was just the beginning. After that, a gigantic ancient golden Buddha descended from the sky and oppressed everything. His hand blotted out the sky and bore down on Lin Feng. It felt like the earth and the sky were on the verge of collapse. What a domineering attack. Humph. Lin Feng grunted icily. He released sword strength, which streaked across the sky and destroyed the Buddhist hand imprint instantly. The Brahma voice's sound waves continued rolling out in waves. Suddenly, Lin Feng was alone in an empty space and could only hear the Brahma voice. 108 Sakyamanis appeared and chanted mantras unceasingly. They wanted him to give up everything and die happily. Lin Feng was disgusted by this kind of technique. Buddhist cultivators tried to kill people by making them give up. It was a horrible feeling. Lin Feng disappeared. The 108 Sakyamanis shot towards Lin Feng. He raised his hands. "Slow," said Lin Feng. Everything around him slowed down. At the same time, he released a terrifying sword intent which contained God's strength. His manifesting speed was incredible. It was like he was merely releasing dazzling beam of lights. The ancient Buddhas exploded one after another. They turned into a golden ocean, which rolled in waves towards Lin Feng, the roar of the waves threatening to drown earth and sky. The mantra soundwave continued floating all around him. Could it be that there's no peerless Buddha here? It seems like only the attacks of a peerless Buddha are left, but an actual person, thought Lin Feng. He didn't see his opponent at all. The attacks had definitely been created by a very strong cultivator, probably a high-level Buddha saint, or the attacks he had left wouldn't have been so powerful. Sword lights kept flashing around Lin Feng. He jumped into the golden ocean and continued walking. Only Buddhist enlightenment could allow one to escape from the boundless sea of bitterness, but Lin Feng wasn't interested. His figure flickered. The sea of bitterness was boundless, there were dazzling golden lights everywhere, corroding away. People from the outside couldn't see the top of the Buddhist mountain at all. Lin Feng and the ancient Buddha disappeared together. Lin Feng traveled for days. He didn't turn around. He ended up in many illusions, but Lin Feng overcame every obstacle. Lin Feng was still walking slowly. Finally, the sea of bitterness disappeared, and he finally landed at the top of the mountain. This the Buddhist mountain? Lin Feng looked around, he was surprised. He smiled icily, this was a holy place for Buddhist cultivators. Bullshit. It was an evil and demonic place. On the top of the mountain were several buildings. Some people came out of a building, all of them Buddhist monks. However, Lin Feng smiled icily when he saw them. They were wearing Buddhist clothes, but their demon chi rolled in waves around them. I would have never thought that this place would be a sink of iniquity, said Lin Feng calmly. Where is Tian Chi? I wouldn't have thought someone would arrive by air. Unfortunately, you're not a Buddhist cultivator, sighed those people. Your Excellency, please go back, you shouldn't be here. Who should come here, then? Asked Lin Feng. People who want to achieve Buddhist enlightenment, replied that person. Why do people who want to achieve Buddhist enlightenment turn into demons? Asked Lin Feng. They achieve supreme enlightenment. After they achieve supreme enlightenment, they don't become Buddhas, they become demons. How ridiculous. Where's Tian Chi? Asked Lin Feng. He didn't have time to talk about this. There hasn't been any saint in the holy city for a very long time, but Buddhist monks who come to the Buddhist mountain become great demon Buddhas and become saints. Isn't that supreme enlightenment? Asked that person, ignoring Lin Feng. They were all strong, all low-level saints. If Lin Feng hadn't come personally, he would have never known there were such strong cultivators here. Buddha. Demon. Lin Feng looked furious. He took out his great demon halberd of desolation, and demon strength suddenly rolled in waves. He suddenly looked like a peerless demon. He said icily, if you continue making me waste my time, I'll destroy the Buddhist mountain. Those people were stupefied, this strong cultivator was a demon cultivator. Tian Chi is there, said that person, pointing at a building. Lin Feng's godly awareness rolled out, crackling sounds spread in the air. He entered the building and saw a cultivator with long black hair seated cross-legged. The man suddenly opened his eyes and said, Brother Lin Feng, what are you doing here? Lin Feng put his great demon halberd of desolation away and walked forwards. The ground under his feet shattered. He destroyed the building, and the demon cultivator appeared alone in front of Lin Feng. It was Tian Chi. He had completely changed, he looked like a demon now. Second fellow disciple. Lin Feng was seething. Back in the days, Tian Chi used to smile all the time. Now, he had completely changed. You go back. I'm not your second fellow disciple anymore, said Tian Chi indifferently. Lin Feng suddenly felt so sad to hear that. He was probably as sad as his teachers. Why? Asked Lin Feng. I don't care about worldly affairs anymore. I only care about strength. In only a few dozens of years, I became a saint. I'm becoming extremely strong, said Tian Chi calmly. I will understand, said Lin Feng, turning around. He landed in front of the flight of long stairs. There were 99,999 steps on it. Lin Feng moved like the wind and descended the flight of stairs. After a short time, he arrived at the foot of the flight of stairs. He looked up at the flight of stairs and started climbing it again. He wanted to see what people who went through that test experienced. Those who are not honest and serious can't achieve enlightenment, said a voice. Lin Feng didn't care, he continued walking up. He could sense a strange strength, but the voice was right actually, without being completely honest, it was impossible to achieve enlightenment. However, Lin Feng was different, because he was stronger than the flight of stairs. Nothing could stop him. 33,333 steps. People who make it here must be very honest and have faith, they believe. Buddhist cultivators are usually very determined and honest, my second fellow disciple is that kind of person too, thought Lin Feng. He continued walking up. There were several tests as he walked up the stairs, illusions which tested his ambition, intent, honesty etc. He had to pass all the tests to get the top. It wasn't an easy test, but Tian Chi had passed it long ago. Lin Feng was on the 66,666th step. He was starting to experience Buddhist cultivators' lives in illusions. Those lives were all about faith. The only way to continue walking up was faith. Lin Feng was surprised by some illusions, too. For example, a Buddhist monk had practiced compassion every day, he had become incredible, he had created great skills to help people become compassionate and so on. He had recruited many disciples. Then, one day, he realized that the disciples he trusted the most had betrayed him. They had killed his family members and stolen his skills and techniques. How could people like that be considered Buddhist cultivators? The Buddha delivers all living creatures from suffering and torment. Those illusions looked extremely real, like the king of the 10,000 beasts' lives. If someone who tried to climb up the stairs had any doubt, they couldn't get the top anymore. Lin Feng could imagine how hard the exam was. Lin Feng's heart was racing. He imagined how terrifying it was for people who got to the top and saw demon qi, how devastated were they. Achieve supreme enlightenment? How cruel! How could people achieve supreme enlightenment like that? Chapter 24-22, Buddhist Mountains leader Lin Feng continued moving forwards. He saw all sorts of things. For Buddhist monks who had faith and who were determined, passing all those tests was a beautiful thing. But the one who had created that test wasn't a real Buddhist cultivator, he wanted to crush people's faith. That's why it was so cruel. If someone firmly believes until the last minute, it must be even more horrible, thought Lin Feng. He continued climbing up the stairs. Finally, he arrived at the top, after experiencing someone's life. That life was a Buddhist monk's life. He had experienced love and hatred, but he abandoned everything to achieve enlightenment and, in the end, he lost everybody he loved, they died, and in the end, he had a miserable life. When Lin Feng reached the last step, he heard a voice say, "Do you still believe?" Hearing such a thing was shocking. Lin Feng took another step and arrived at the very top of the mountain. He sensed the demon qi and heard, being a Buddhist in this world is useful if you want to be strong, and it's also the goal when you're a demon cultivator. Demon cultivation and Buddhism are the same. I am a Buddha. Then, Lin Feng saw a woman, Buddhist and demon energies intertwining around her. The two antagonistic energies were having a fierce battle. That's the one who experienced the miserable and tragic life. Lin Feng was grim, and took a deep breath. He understood why Tian Qi had no way to free himself. People who managed to pass the exam of the flight of stairs were extremely determined and motivated, and when they arrived at the top, their beliefs, their faith, were crushed, which also crushed them emotionally. Lin Feng's figure flickered. He arrived in front of Tian Qi again and said, "Brother, even if you pass the tragic and sad exam of the flight of stairs, you don't need to be disappointed in everything. Our two teachers and all our fellow disciples love you as a brother and it's not a lie, it's true." Tian Qi shook his head, "If they're honest, it's great, and if it's all a lie, it doesn't matter either. I already gave up. Leave now. Don't disturb me while I practice cultivation. It's my own decision, and it has nothing to do with you. If you accept to reply to a few of my questions, I'll leave," said Lin Feng. Tian Qi opened his eyes and looked at Lin Feng, "Go ahead. Your faith has been crushed, you don't believe in Buddhism anymore, why did you turn into a demon cultivator?" asked Lin Feng. Demon cultivation is merciless and emotionless. The only purpose is to become strong. You can see how strong I've become. Do you think I had the ability to become that strong in the past? Alright, you think you can only be strong that way, so you became emotionless and merciless to become strong. But then again, why do you want to become so strong? Asked Lin Feng. In this world, only strength matters. If you're strong, you can control everything. If you're strong, you can say you're a Buddha, you can say you're a demon, it all doesn't matter. You can choose to be what you want to be. What was the purpose of the one who made you become a demon? Asked Lin Feng. He's had a miserable and sad life, and then he achieved supreme enlightenment. He didn't want other people to have the same life as him, so he decided to help others. He is an extraordinary being. If you can't become a demon, then you can continue believing in Buddhism, it doesn't matter anyway. Both can become peerless cultivators, said Tian Qi slowly. Lin Feng burst into frantic laughter, like a madman. Tian Qi asked, "What are you laughing at?" Second fellow disciple, "I'm laughing because you seem so naive. Since he achieved supreme enlightenment and became a peerless demon, he's supposed to be selfish and focus on his own strength, he's supposed to practice with single-hearted devotion and without distracting thoughts. So, why would he help other people?" "I'm laughing because you think you achieved supreme enlightenment, you think you're having a good life as a demon cultivator. You're just a tool for him," said Lin Feng. "Now, I will show you how to achieve supreme enlightenment again. If you still don't believe me, then we'll break off ties forever. You say that demon cultivation, merciless and emotionless, are the best ways to become strong quickly. How? I've never changed, I love my closed ones, I hate my enemies. Back then, we were similarly strong, how strong am I now?" demanded Lin Feng. His robe started fluttering in the wind. He stepped forwards, and a terrifying energy filled the air. Tian Qi's face changed drastically, and he jumped away. "You think you can escape?" Lin Feng's eyes became pitch black. Tian Qi had the impression he was being absorbed into hell. Lin Feng raised his hand and grabbed Tian Qi's neck. "Maybe you did achieve supreme enlightenment, but you're SOSO now." He threw Tian Qi away, and the latter crashed into a wall. He pulled a long face and stared at Lin Feng, while releasing demon Qi in angry waves. "You're angry. You're not qualified to be angry. Our teachers made great efforts to raise you and you decided to break off ties. You're worthless," said Lin Feng, walking forwards. He raised his fist again. Tian Qi was angry. He released ancient imprints and shot them towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng destroyed them instantly. He grabbed Tian Qi again and threw him onto the ground violently. A crater appeared under Tian Qi, and he coughed up blood. "That's what you call achieving supreme enlightenment. You've become a tiny little insect. You've become weaker after achieving supreme enlightenment. I can kill you in the blink of an eye." Lin Feng looked at Tian Qi disdainfully and said, "Don't tell me that you achieved supreme enlightenment and that it's the best way to practice cultivation when I'm stronger than you. You say that strength is the most important thing, that Buddhism is demon cultivation, maybe. But in any case, the most important thing is to listen to your heart. I am strong, but I listen to myself, I have my own stories, I have my own life. There are people I love, there are people I hate. I think I'm quite free and unfettered, unlike you," said Lin Feng. Tian Qi shivered. "And these people who live at the top of the mountain, are they enlightened beings?" snarled Lin Feng, glancing at the crowd icily. He glanced at them, and buildings exploded instantly. Qi rolled in waves towards Lin Feng. He flickered, pointed his fingers at someone, and that person instantly died. "Killing you people who have achieved supreme enlightenment is a slight effort," said Lin Feng, rolling up his sleeves. Then he landed in front of Tian Qi again and said, "Did you see that clearly? You really achieved supreme enlightenment?" Tian Qi was trembling and staring at Lin Feng. His younger fellow disciple was crazy and honest, he had never changed, he loved his friends and hated his enemies. Why change? You passed the test of the flight of stairs and changed because you thought you had achieved supreme enlightenment. I've also gone through a lot, and I also experienced many lives, I'll show you, said Lin Feng. Suddenly, Tian Qi started dreaming. Lin Feng forced him to experience the different lives of the king of the 10,000 beasts. After a long time, the dream ended and Lin Feng said to Tian Qi, I experienced more than you and I didn't change, why did I manage to do that and you didn't? Even if you don't believe in Buddhism anymore, even if you don't want to be a Buddhism monk anymore, why did you need to change your personality? Why do you exist? What is your purpose in life? Lin Feng was furious. Tian Qi thought he had achieved supreme enlightenment. You mean it's a conspiracy? Asked Tian Qi. Of course, come with me, said Lin Feng. Their figures flickered. There was nothing where Lin Feng took Tian Qi, but he took out a sword and slashed it. Break! Clear notes sounded as something unseen broke. Fissures appeared in the atmosphere. Tian Qi was stunned. Nothing that is invented can escape from my perceptions, said Lin Feng. They continued moving forwards. There was a mountain there, and a figure at the top. There was a man there, half Buddha half demon, holding a woman in his arms. It's him. Tian Qi was astonished. Indeed, it's him. He's the one at the center of all this, said Lin Feng. You really think he's helping you? What is his goal? Asked Tian Qi. To become a peerless saint, replied Lin Feng firmly. Tian Qi was stupefied. Lin Feng said to that person, You're still alive, if I'm not mistaken. The person slowly turned around and looked at Lin Feng. His face was blurry, it was impossible to see his features. He was half demon, half Buddha. I think we know one another, said Lin Feng. Lin Feng, said that person. Lin Feng wasn't surprised. He could sense that he did indeed know that person. Who are you? Asked Lin Feng. You'll know in time. Now, take him away. He came voluntarily, I didn't force him. There's no need to disturb me, said that person calmly. All right, we'll meet again, replied Lin Feng easily. He left with Tian Qi. You know the difference between high-level saints and peerless saints? Asked Lin Feng to Tian Qi. I know, said Tian Qi, nodding. What are conditions to become a peerless saint? Asked Lin Feng. 2 sorts of special original strength at the maximum level, then you must make them fuse together, said Tian Qi slowly. Suddenly, he looked astonished as if he had just understood something. His heart started pounding. Indeed. That cultivator is a terrifying Buddhist monk, and he wants to become a peerless saint. For that, he needs to understand the opposite original strength, demon original strength. He used you guys to study, said Lin Feng. Tian Qi was astonished and trembling. Chapter 24-23, True Self. Lin Feng showed Tian Qi a lot. Had he made a mistake? Back then, he didn't really care about the outside world. He was free, but he was also very determined on the path of Buddhism. Lin Feng knew that. Mu Chen and Emperor Yu also knew that. But during the previous decades, he had focused on climbing the Buddhist mountain because of his religion. His faith had been ruined, and his soul had been bruised all over. He had decided to focus on becoming stronger. He had decided to become a demon. In a few years, he had become a saint, so he was convinced that it was due to his choice. But now Lin Feng had used facts to show him he was wrong. He had been used by other people. He couldn't withstand a single attack from Lin Feng. Lin Feng was the same as before, and he had become strong too, and he was still becoming stronger quickly. So why was Tian Qi becoming stronger quickly? Because he had decided to practice demon cultivation. Lin Feng looked at Tian Qi and said icily, You became stronger, so what? Someone ruined your faith, your personality changed, and you convinced yourself you were happy that way. Don't you feel ashamed, ridiculous, and miserable? Your fate was in someone else's hands. Tian Qi took a deep breath and asked himself what he had done wrong. Someone had used him. Second fellow disciple, said Lin Feng. Suddenly, he didn't sound as cold, he sounded calm and serene. Tian Qi slowly turned his head to Lin Feng, and looked at him straight in the eyes. I came here to find some answers. Now, I told you all I wanted to tell you. I hope you'll return to your true self. I can't force you to change. I hope you'll understand who you really are, and how to live your life. If you really want to stay like that, I'll just leave immediately, and I will never come back to you, said Lin Feng, staring at Tian Qi calmly. Tian-Chi also wondered who he really was. He closed his eyes, he had to listen to his heart, he had achieved supreme enlightenment once, now he had to do with his heart. He had to forget about everything. He needed to understand his own emotions. Tian-Chi visualized many things. He visualized a young Buddhist monk at the top of a mountain meditating. He said to a middle-aged man, "Teacher, why do we practice cultivation? Cultivating our mind and body is important to learn things, to become qualified. It helps you understand yourself, it helps you choose your path," smiled the middle-aged man. He didn't really understand, but the middle-aged man laughed and tapped his head. The little Buddhist monk grew up. He practiced really hard, he traveled all around, he was tired, life was difficult. He went back to the mountain, the middle-aged man was still there, he clapped his shoulders and smiled, little Chi, you traveled for 2 years." The Buddhist monk who had grown up smiled widely. "Teacher, I feel purer in my heart, I feel infinitely grateful. I didn't ask you to leave for so long, though," another middle-aged man smiled. The Buddhist monk lowered his head and grinned. Tears appeared in his eyes and flowed along his cheeks. He suddenly felt so sad. He understood. He finally understood. He suddenly opened his eyes. He cut his long black hair, and after a few seconds, he was completely bald again. He looked at Lin Feng, he was still crying, but he still smiled broadly. He felt sad and happy at the same time. He had returned to his true self. Nobody could use him anymore. "Lin Feng, thank you," said Tian-Chi. Lin Feng smiled broadly too. He knew that the Tian-Chi he knew had come back to his true self. "Second fellow disciple," said Lin Feng. They hugged. "Let's go back, Lin Feng." "I want to see our teachers," said Tian-Chi suddenly. He was impatient. "All right, let's go back," said Lin Feng smiling. They both left. At that moment, there were still many strong cultivators at the top of the mountain. Tian-Chi wasn't the only one who had been influenced by Lin Feng, the others were, too. They were also struggling in their hearts. But all of that had nothing to do with Lin Feng anymore. In Tiantai, Mu Chen and Emperor Yu gazed into the distance. They were waiting. Lin Feng had left for a few days already and he hadn't come back, so they were worried. Even though Lin Feng was strong, the Buddhist mountain was mysterious, and they had heard that Lin Feng had tried to fly straight to the top of the mountain. There had been a terrifying battle and after that Lin Feng had disappeared. In the distance, a beam of light appeared and shot in their direction. They couldn't see anything, but they heard sonic booms. They landed on the ground, a gigantic crater appeared as dust rose up in the air. Then, someone appeared in front of them, and didn't dare look at them. The two were stupefied. Then they saw Lin Feng land there, too. "Little Chi," said Mu Chen. He was stupefied. Tian-Chi was on his knees in front of them. "Teachers, I am a bad disciple," said Tian-Chi. He sounded extremely sad and guilty. He banged his head on the ground, dust continued rising around him. Phew, Emperor Yu and Mu Chen glanced at each other and smiled. Little Chi was back. "Stand up. Little Chi, you're back, we're happy." They walked up to him and dragged him up, or at least they tried to. He didn't stand up. "Teachers, let me kowtow here," said Tian-Chi, raising his head. He looked at them, he could see they weren't angry at him, but he still felt so guilty, so sad. He imagined how sad his teachers had been because of him. He felt like a horrible person. "Little Chi, you made a mistake, but we don't blame you," said Mu Chen, pulling on Tian-Chi. "Mu Chen is right. Little Chi, you're back, let bygones be bygones," said Emperor Yu. Tian-Chi looked at the two teachers, he felt so guilty. "Second fellow disciple, stand up. You're making our teachers sad like this." "Let bygones be bygones," said Lin Feng, walking towards Tianqi. Tianqi looked at Lin Feng and then at his teachers. He kowtowed again and said, "Your teachings are etched firmly into my mind." Tianqi stood up. Emperor Yu and Mu Chen were touched and really happy. "Little Lin Feng, thank you for having brought little Qi back," said Mu Chen to Lin Feng. He hadn't thought Lin Feng would succeed. "Teacher, we can't blame my second fellow disciple. The leader of the Buddhist mountain is too strong. He's using people who are determined, he makes them lose faith and turns them into pawns," said Lin Feng. He could talk from personal experience now. "I understand. I also know what kind of person little Qi is. I never thought the legendary cultivator of the Buddhist mountain would make people change so much," Mu Chen sighed. "Lin Feng, what did you find there?" "A strong and terrifying cultivator. He practices both Buddhist and demon cultivation. He's a high-level saint who's stuck at that cultivation level. He's trying to make both original strengths reach their maximum level to become a peerless saint. He controls the Buddhist mountain and studies the cultivators who go there to progress, that's why he turns them into demons. He studied demon cultivation using them." "How strong?" Mu Chen was astonished. He had never thought the cultivator there would be a high-level saint who wanted to become a peerless saint. How incredible. "Yes, we know each other, but I'm not sure who he is," said Lin Feng. He didn't remember whom he knew who practiced both demon and Buddhist cultivation. "I'll tell all the disciples of Tiantai that nobody should go there, ever," said Mu Chen slowly. They had to be very careful. Chapter 24-24, Shrines. Changes in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds, on a public field of the fire shrine. There were flames all around a sacrificial altar. In front of the altar was a strong cultivator wearing a fire robe. He looked dignified and majestic. There were incredibly strong cultivators gathered around. Xiong Yu's mother was in the crowd. "Fierce battles have started, it's at the point of no return now, the situation is really chaotic." "What do you think?" asked the presiding man calmly. "Everything is going to change now," said someone. "Of course. We can read lots of things about the situation back in the days when it was chaotic. There were great changes. Some shrines were destroyed, and some others rose. Of course. Things change all the time. People have different destinies. Many geniuses rise. Many people break through suddenly. Of course, even more people fall behind and get killed." The leader smiled. "Indeed. Some of you will rise, too. Some of you will die. You all have different destinies. You've probably heard of what happened yesterday." "We know," everybody nodded. "I hadn't thought that the legends would be true. All the worlds the shrines have created are connected, and the territories which connect two different worlds are sometimes forbidden territories. It's incredible. These last few years, we've found a dozen worlds connected to the continent of the Nine Clouds." "Yes, so there's the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds, which is something different, then there's the continent of the Nine Clouds and 12 worlds that are connected to it. In those other worlds, there are some incredible influential groups, but still, there is no world that is more complete than the continent of the Nine Clouds. The continent of the Nine Clouds is the best and main world. The other worlds were created by gods. The continent of the celestial stars was created by cultivators who control star strength. They might have close relations to the Fortune Shrine. We have already sent some cultivators to investigate that matter. We'll see if we can find anything related to the Fortune Shrine, and to the god or gods who created that continent. The world of the celestial stars isn't the only one. We sent strong cultivators to all the other worlds to investigate. We're not the only ones doing that, the other shrines are also doing it. The relationships between all the shrines are complex nowadays. We need to help the younger generations grow strong. From now on, the Fire Shrine's God's picture scrolls should be made available for the core disciples. Elder, I have something to report, a woman said to the leader. What? Asked the elder. Maybe that Lin Feng who has a forbidden body is in the lower world. Can we send a peerless saint to kill him? Asked the woman. Xiong Lin had been killed, so she understood that without a peerless saint, they wouldn't be able to kill Lin Feng. The elder's eyes glittered, and he said to the woman, last time, you told us about the situation. Back then, the shrines even went to the fortune shrine to oppress some young people, but nothing was done to kill them quickly. Now, some of them have already become famous, the shrines made a mistake of strategic importance. The elder said the shrines had made a mistake without feeling ashamed. He continued, but the shrine's leaders didn't think that the world would become so chaotic later. We forgot or neglected what happened 1,000 years ago, the destiny wheel is not a joke. The top cultivators of the last meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds were really talented, that's why they became strong so quickly. And last time you acted alone, you sent people and you failed. You think the fortune shrine doesn't know about that? They know. Lin Feng's real body has a mysterious strength. Even if we send a peerless saint, it might not work either. Let's forget about it for the time being, said the elder. The woman's face stiffened. Elder, Lin Feng is becoming strong extremely quickly. He probably has the forbidden body. If we let him become strong, he will overturn the shrines, said the woman. However, the elder just glanced at her and retorted, you think it's so easy for a low-level saint to become a peerless saint? It's already extremely hard to make one sort of original strength reach its maximum level, so imagine 2 sorts of special original strength, it's even harder. In the history of the world, nobody has ever managed to do that in less than 1,000 years. We still have time. We need to wait until it's the right time. Just have some people spy on him, that's enough. The woman wanted to say something else, but the elder said, enough. If Lin Feng has a forbidden body, we'll see. The fortune shrine will also attach more importance to him. Don't you understand these basic principles? When the woman heard the elder, she pulled a long face. How could she give up and let Lin Feng off? We're not the only ones who want to kill Lin Feng, the other shrines want to kill him, too. We shouldn't stir up trouble, said the elder icily. The woman shuddered as she understood something. Shrines could be destroyed in troubled times. Thus, all the shrines wanted to protect themselves and their people, as their people were their assets. They couldn't take risks and let their people die. The fire shrine didn't want to take risks and then have other shrines attack them in a moment of weakness. This time, I called everybody together because I want you to do some things. First, I want you to make efforts to teach our young people more things and help them become stronger. Second, I want you to recruit young geniuses. Third, I want everybody to get ready to battle. The world is chaotic, and it'll be the same as in the past. It will be a very long fight. The fighting may last for 1, 5, or even 10,000 years. He who laughs last, laughs longest. We understand, everybody nodded. The worst times were also the best. Who was going to use the losers as stepping stones? Those things had nothing to do with Lin Feng for the time being. As the fire shrine thought, there would be chaos for a very long time. No shrine was stupid enough to attack another shrine straightforwardly, and nobody was stupid enough to use their trump cards immediately either. Also, nobody was stupid enough to send their strongest cultivators first and have them die. Therefore, they focused on raising their young geniuses, they needed to accumulate strength. Lin Feng wasn't strong enough to make the whole world change. He didn't have such a power. Those days, Lin Feng stayed in Tiantai with his teachers and his friends, he taught young people about cultivation. The holy city calmed down again. Many people who wanted to become Tiantai's disciples came, but Tiantai didn't recruit disciples so easily. To become a member of Tiantai, the rule was now to become a student at Champion University first, then they had to become core students of Champion University. Only then did Tiantai consider their applications. It also meant that Tiantai and Champion University belonged to the same group. Champion University used to be strong, and now they were even stronger. They had always been respected, so many students wanted to study there. Regarding Tiantai, people admired Tiantai because of Lin Feng. Mu Chen, Emperor Yu and Tian Qi were gathered in a courtyard. Mu Chen asked Lin Feng, "Little Lin Feng, you really intend to go?" "Yes. I've been in the holy city for half a year. Tiantai is becoming stronger and more stable. I have left 9 bestial saints here to protect Tiantai. They can protect Tiantai for 1,000 years. They will do their best. I need to leave," Lin Feng told Mu Chen. But now the passage between the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds and the lower world is open. I can come back to see you anytime, anyway. Mu Chen nodded. "You stayed here for a while and you did so much for Tiantai, you should indeed leave and do your own things now." "Little Qi, are you going to leave too?" "Teacher, I won't call you great fellow disciple or brother, you're my teacher. Qing Lin is my great fellow disciple or brother. They all left for so many years, I was a demon for so many years, too. I should go and travel," said Tian Qi, smiling calmly. He looked soft and kind, like in the past. "Even though you were a demon for a while, your fellow disciples might not necessarily be as strong as you, you're already a saint. But you were lucky. This time, if you go and travel, be careful." "I understand," Tian Qi nodded. "All right. Old buddy, let the kids leave the nest," smiled Emperor Yu. However, he also looked sad, he didn't want the young ones to leave, either. "Huh, all right, go," said Mu Chen, laughing wholeheartedly. "These little boys don't want to leave, either. And Ling, she keeps following little Lin Feng everywhere. Tell them after we leave. Let's go now." Lin Feng and Tian Qi bowed before their teachers and flew up. Mu Chen and Emperor Yu watched them disappear in the distance. They turned around only when the two of them completely disappeared into the horizon. Chapter 24-25, Original Strength Entity. The two of them flew in the sky. Lin Feng smiled at Tian Qi, "Second fellow disciple, where do you want to go?" "Our teachers were right, even though I progressed a lot, it wasn't in the best conditions. However, after what happened, I understand myself even better than before. I returned to my truest self. Even though I decided to go and travel, Tiantai is always in my heart. I will do all I can to become stronger in this life and honor Tiantai, our teachers, and fellow disciples. I have learned from my past mistakes," Tian Qi smiled. He gazed into the distance, as if he were taking an oath. When Lin Feng heard that, he was surprised. Tian Qi's obsessiveness was impressive. Was it because he had returned to his true self? He didn't understand what Tian Qi was thinking about, but in any case, he felt extremely guilty and was becoming obsessive about it. He wanted to dedicate his life to Tiantai and his teachers now. "Lin Feng, you're extremely talented, keep up the good work. Someday, you'll become a supreme cultivator in the whole world. You'll control heaven and earth. Then, even if I can't do everything I want for Tiantai, at least you'll be there. Anyway, now I'll travel everywhere in the world, and I'll go back to Tiantai from time to time," Tian Qi smiled. Then he asked, "What about you? Where are you going now?" "Vast celestial ancient city and Qi Tian holy town. I have things to do there," replied Lin Feng. He wanted to bring Qin Feng back to the animal world, and he also wanted to go to Qi Tian holy town. "Alright, so we're going in different directions. We'll see each other again," said Tian Qi. "Yes, take care, brother." They both smiled at each other and headed off in different directions. After Lin Feng destroyed the Moon Palace in vast celestial ancient city, things went back to normal, and the city became calm again. However, calmness was relative. Different groups continued competing, but the animal world rarely got involved. After Lin Feng arrived in the animal world, he met the third leader. He also got some news from Wu and the others. The third leader was completely stunned when he learned about Lin Feng's cultivation level. Things had changed so fast. But Lin Feng didn't stay there too long. He left with Qin Feng and Jing again. Qi Tian Holy Town was more agitated than vast celestial ancient city. It had a long history, and there were powerful groups there. After the continent of the Nine Clouds had become chaotic, many people had come to Qi Tian Holy Town. Of course, an important reason for that was that back in the days, a group of strong cultivators, including Lin Feng, had been to the historical remains. Now, the historical remains were filled with strong cultivators wanting to explore the mysteries of the historical remains. Of course, they also wanted to know who those chained cultivators were. Lin Feng arrived in the historical remains, standing at the top of a mountain. Qin Feng and Jing were next to him, looking peerlessly beautiful. Some people looked at them, and others also released their godly awareness to look at them. What's this place? Surprisingly, there are so many strong cultivators, asked Jing. Her beautiful eyes twinkled. She had been practicing cultivation for decades, but she was still only a celestial emperor. She was astonished. Historical remains. The founders of all the dynasties sealed this area long ago, and some terrifyingly strong cultivators were stuck inside. So, naturally, they attract many other strong cultivators, replied Lin Feng. I wonder if we will be able to find answers. I can sense different kinds of qi. They're all incredibly strong, said Jing. Yes, the qi here has become more powerful with time, it seems, agreed Lin Feng. He flashed forwards and landed in front of a gigantic abyssal hole. He could hear the sound of chains coming from within. Back then, Lin Feng had jumped into it to escape, and the hole had collapsed, so it wasn't as dark as in the past. A terrifying demon intent roared out and shot towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng took a deep breath and spat out fire strength, which surrounded the demon qi and destroyed it. Little boy, you grew up, said a gloomy voice. Your Excellency, who are you, or what are you? Asked Lin Feng. He was much stronger than back then, but he couldn't sense the other's strange qi precisely. It was just a pure demon energy, but it was also much more powerful than back then. If you break my chains, I'll tell you, said that person promptly. Lin Feng pulled a long face. The ancestors of the dynasties who were saints were strong, but back in the ancient days, they were probably not strong enough to seal terrifying immortal creatures. Who chained you? What do I have to do to break them? Asked Lin Feng. You don't need to know who chained me. And these chains are a seal, the celestial chains of heaven and earth. If you can find the source of the chains, you'll be able to break them, and if you break them, you'll be rewarded. You can't imagine the incredible things you will obtain, said the voice, heavy with demon strength. Lin Feng was startled. The celestial chains of heaven and earth? Who had created them? He had the impression that the stories of the ancient days were even more complex than what the saints of the town had told him. Let's go, said Lin Feng, frowning. He took Qin Feng and Jing away. After a few seconds, they arrived in a frozen place. In the middle of the area a figure was buried. Some crackling sound spread out, and the figure broke free from the ice, but he could not move away. Back in the days, I didn't see everything. Surprisingly, there are 9 creatures like that here, and they're all chained. The ancestors of the dynasties are definitely not the cultivators who sealed them. I need to ask Qin Shan. Lin Feng took out a jade talisman and contacted Qin Shan. Master Qin Shan, are you there? What is it, Lin Feng? Replied a voice. Lin Feng was astonished. Qin Shan was in the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds and Lin Feng was in the continent of the 9 clouds, and the call still worked. It was probably due to the fact that the passages were open, as it wasn't possible in the past. "How's it going in the Life Shrine?" asked Lin Feng to Qin Shan. "I'm recovering. The Life Shrine is a great place. The rebirth scriptures are really mysterious. Thank you for everything, Lin Feng, it's all thanks to you. I never thought I'd recover someday." Lin Feng laughed and said, "It's all thanks to the diviner. He's enigmatic and unfathomable. He has extremely good relations with the Life Shrine, and he asked them to help me at some point, that's how it started. So we have to be grateful to him." "I know, but without you, it still wouldn't have been possible for me," Qin Shan laughed. "Right. By the way, I am in Qi Tian Holy Town in the historical remains where you used to be. There are 9 terrifying cultivators here who are imprisoned. They say those chains are called celestial chains of heaven and earth. You probably know what happened here back then, right?" Lin Feng asked Qin Shan. Qin Shan suddenly sounded nervous. "Lin Feng, actually, if you try to investigate, you'll probably learn things. But sometimes, you have to be careful. Back then, we were all quite strong, but it was difficult for us to become stronger. When you're a low-level saint, it's difficult to break through. But one day, we bumped into them. When we saw them, we finally had hopes again. We saw an opportunity to become stronger in them. Back then, we practiced cultivation really hard. We kept becoming stronger. We weren't even aware of our cultivation levels, actually, as we didn't care about naming them. All we knew was that we were breaking through." "Who are they?" asked Lin Feng. When the saint of the Holy Spirit dynasty had transmitted the memories of the ancient battlefield to him, Lin Feng had heard about that. "They're not cultivators, they are a transformation, an evolution, of original strength. They can absorb space strength and turn it into original strength. They evolve in endless cycles. They constantly become stronger. They are heavenly gifted, they are natural original strength." Chapter 24-26, People in White Clothes. When Lin Feng heard Qin Shan, he shuddered. They were an evolved form of original strength, heavenly gifted. No wonder their qi didn't resemble cultivators' qi. So, the terrifying entity in the abyssal hole is demon original strength, the one in the ice world is water original strength, and there's also an empty space original strength, and a soundwave one. 9 innate original strength bodies, thought Lin Feng. He asked, "So back in the days, you started fighting because of those people? However, you didn't manage to absorb them? We all regretted it in the end. For example, me, I used all my strength to turn into a gigantic cauldron to oppress the soundwave original strength in the valley. The other saints did the same. Nobody won. In the end, we used as much strength as we could to oppress their original strength. Then, we decided to have our descendants come, but we didn't think nobody would be strong enough to do anything until now. It finally changed." "I understand. Thank you very much," replied Lin Feng. He put his jade talisman away and ran back to the abyssal pit. Outside of the black hole were 2 people. They were both very strong and demon chi rolled around them. They were both half-saints. "What's going on here? The demon intent is terrifying, it doesn't even look like a person," said one of them. "I'm not sure. I have the impression that practicing cultivation next to him is good, it helps us understand demon original strength," said the other one. "But practicing here could be dangerous, he could kill us," said the other one. He looked petrified. The energies in the black hole might be more powerful than his own. At that moment, they looked at Lin Feng and the others, and their eyes twinkled. "You're a saint, too?" one of them asked Lin Feng. They couldn't sense Lin Feng's qi, so they didn't understand. Lin Feng just glanced at them, then said to Qin Feng and Jing, "Wait for me here. I'll be back quickly." "All right," both of them nodded. Lin Feng jumped into the hole. The 2 cultivators were stupefied. That guy was definitely a saint, otherwise he wouldn't have dared jump into the abyssal pit. It was completely dark inside. Back then, Lin Feng had been inside, but this time his godly awareness was much more powerful. Lin Feng saw the demon's evil eyes and the chains. The demon said to him, "I'm not interested in people who are not demon cultivators. Piss off." "Who said I wasn't a demon cultivator?" asked Lin Feng airily. He looked at the demon disdainfully, and released demon energy. Instantly, he looked like a demon king. "Demon original strength, very good," said the demon. He looked ferocious as the chains emitted crackling sounds. He rose up into the air and a gigantic hand moved towards Lin Feng. "I wonder how strong a body made of original strength is?" Lin Feng asked casually. He also released a terrifying demon punch. The entity's punch broke apart and Lin Feng realized that after it broke, the original strength condensed a hand again, and it was more powerful than the previous one. It moved towards him again, too. It was like the entity had used Lin Feng's demon strength, too. Good little boy. Lin Feng was stunned, then, his body turned into a vortex and he started absorbing the energies. It was incredible to see. The vortex absorbed the demon's strength. As the original strength disappeared, Lin Feng continued moving down. He wanted to check whether he could absorb all the strength at once. The demon was astonished, and roared with rage. The chains shook even more violently. Lin Feng felt danger. Demon strength condensed. 12 ancient demons appeared around Lin Feng, all holding gigantic steel fork. They looked like demon gods as they rose up in the air and started attacking Lin Feng's vortex. The 12 demons hit the vortex with their steel forks, thunder rocked the pit. The vortex cracked, and the 12 demons roared eagerly. Humph! Lin Feng grunted icily and continued releasing strength to oppress the enemy. That demon has a body made of original strength. I can't fight against him as if I were fighting against a normal saint. Lin Feng suddenly accelerated, arriving in front of the 12 demons. They roared in unison and attacked. "Slow," said Lin Feng. Everything around him became slower, including the 12 demons. Lin Feng then flew past them, as trying to kill them was useless anyway. After that, Lin Feng appeared in front of his enemy and directly used a ruler's sword attack. It pierced through the demon like a knife through butter. The demon directly vanished. Lin Feng's sword destroyed it. However, the nothingness condensed again into a demon, still chained. "It's not a real body." Lin Feng was astonished. That wasn't a real body. Even when the demon was destroyed, the chains continued constricting him, those chains seemed indestructible. The demon roared furiously. He wanted to eat Lin Feng. Fire. Lin Feng released fire strength, which burned the entity. At the same time, he suddenly rose back up in the air and headed outside. How annoying. How was it? Jing asked Lin Feng. He can't be killed. I don't know what to do, whispered Lin Feng. Jing was stunned. He couldn't kill that creature. They heard a terrifying roar. Many hands reached for Lin Feng, Jing, and Qin Feng. Lin Feng dragged them away as lights surrounded them, and they continued flying away. Lin Feng wasn't afraid of the original strength creature, but Jing and Qin Feng were vulnerable. Lin Feng was annoyed. He was so strong, even stronger than Qin Shan back in those days, but he couldn't do anything against the original strength entity either. A group of people appeared outside of the historical remains. They were all wearing white clothes, moving easily and casually, and stylized sharp eyebrows. "There," said one of them, pointing to a place. There was a chained entity in the sky. Golden lights flashed there. "Let's go." The group of people in white clothes flew and punched the creature in chains. "Who?" the chained creature shouted furiously. The atmosphere around it exploded, energies moved towards the group of people. Chains descended from the sky and bound the attacks before moving them into an empty space. At the same time, mighty deployment seals surrounded the chained creature. It looked like a fly in a spider web, buried in chains. "You! Arg!" that creature shouted furiously. The atmosphere kept shaking around it. Everybody in the historical remains heard it. "Kill those people," shouted someone furiously. Soundwave strength shook people's eardrums. The people who were in the historical remains raised their heads and saw the group of people in white clothes. At the same time, those figures flickered. What were those people in white clothes doing to the chained creatures? A light curtain appeared in the sky and surrounded the people in white clothes, including the chained creature. Lin Feng arrived, wanting to see what was going on. He was startled too. Sealing strength. These people are strengthening the chains. Do they have anything to do with the celestial chains of heaven and earth? Stop struggling. Our master let you live for one reason. You're captured and tied already, no need to put up a fight, said one of the cultivators in white clothes. Those saints represented their master. How powerful was their master? Chapter 24-27, Gift for a New Disciple. The seal was still there, more and more invisible and intangible marks appeared and surrounded the original strength entity. He couldn't move anymore. The group of people in white clothes moved forwards, their sealing lights became even more dazzling and powerful. The young man in the middle released shining golden lights. At the same time, he started drawing things in the air with his finger. Suddenly, chains appeared around his own body and connected to the chains on the original strength entity. "Who are you?" shouted the empty space original strength entity furiously. It could sense that the chains were terrifying. These people were similar to the people who had sealed it long ago. They probably belonged to the same group. Back then the cultivator who had sealed them was even stronger and scarier. "From now on, you and me make one. You'll help me make my empty space original strength reach the maximum level." "You should be happy about that," said the young man, slowly walking towards the original strength entity. Empty space original strength and sealing strength were two sorts of strength. The original strength entity was a gift he had received from his teacher when he had been accepted as a disciple. It meant his teacher acknowledged him. "Piss off," shouted the original strength entity desperately. It was going to become this young man's tool. It was very unhappy. It had been created by the earth and the sky, nature was its mother. It was a heavenly gifted strength of nature. Nobody had managed to capture it in the past, and now what? It was going to become someone's stepping stone. "Body seal," shouted the young man furiously. The original strength entity slowly started corroding. His original strength slowly started flowing through the chains towards the young man's body. The young man was absorbing it and sealing it in his body. "No," shouted the original strength entity frantically. However, its entire body turned into smoke and penetrated into the young man's body. It vanished completely. It became an integral part of the young man's body. "You're mine," said the young man in white clothes. The seals in the space disappeared, as the original strength entity had already disappeared. The crowd around was astonished. Many people's hearts were racing. Those people's sealing abilities were just too incredible. They could directly absorb the original strength entities and make them part of their bodies. "Do you want to die too?" shouted the young man furiously. His voice echoed far away in the historical remains. The 8 other original strength entities stopped shouting out, afraid that the group of people would try to capture them as well. The sealing strength of the group of people in white clothes disappeared. They turned around and glanced at the crowd. They looked indifferent and scornful, as if they found all those people worthless because they weren't strong enough. The crowd sensed that those people were making fun of them, but so what? What could they do? They were so much weaker compared to them. They probably came from a powerful and influential group. Their sealing techniques were mysterious and incredible. Only extremely strong cultivators could do such things. They were all saints, and their group attacks were amazing. They had also talked about their master, who also seemed to be a terrifying being. Since the passages to the higher world are open, more and more saints will appear here, but let me tell you one thing, you're too weak to do anything against them. Now piss off. We want to seal this place, said the young man in white clothes calmly. Many people didn't know what kind of creatures the 8 original strength entities were. However, Lin Feng knew about them. Therefore, he understood that these people wanted to seal the place to have access to the original strength entities later on if they had the opportunity. They wanted to use the original strength entities to become stronger easily. If they sealed the area, they would be able to use them whenever they needed them, like a moment before when they had absorbed the empty space energy original strength entity. Haven't you heard me? Said the young man icily. Some people hadn't moved, as if they hadn't heard him. Young master, since they cast greedy eyes on the gift our master gave you, we should kill them all, said a person in white clothes standing next to the young man. He sounded as calm as pale clouds and light breeze, as if killing all the people around them was something insignificant and easy. Actually, it really was the case, as those small saints from the lower world were really weak compared to them. Their master seldom showed up in the outside world, but he was really terrifying. The young man in white clothes had had to become a low-level saint to be acknowledged by his teacher. When the crowd heard him, they flew away. It was better not to offend these people. They were crazy and really strong. A gift, meaning his teacher acknowledged him. When Lin Feng heard them, he was astonished. Those original strength entities were a gift to that young man. That was impressive, indeed. Qing Feng, Jing, leave now, said Lin Feng. The 2 women weren't strong. If anything happened, they could die easily. All right. The 2 women understood that too, so they left. Quickly, many people disappeared from the historical remains, but some people also decided to stay. Some of them were like Lin Feng, and didn't like it when other people threatened them, and second, they were interested in original strength, too. The young man in white clothes inspected the area with his godly awareness and suddenly looked angry. He hissed, surprisingly, some people decided to stay here, they're not afraid to die. Well then, kill them all. Yes, young master, said the group of people when they heard their young master. They rose up in the air and released a powerful sealing strength over the historical remains. A gigantic circular sealing pattern appeared in the sky. Lin Feng frowned. He could sense that a sealing strength was constricting his body. Seal, dragon constriction, shouted a cultivator. A gigantic godly dragon appeared and roared out. Sealing strength could also kill people. Lin Feng wasn't the only who was being attacked. Everybody who had decided to stay in the historical remains was being attacked and buried in sealing strength. That kind of strength can be that powerful. Surprising, thought Lin Feng. He released sword intent, but it wasn't sufficient to destroy the godly sealing dragons. There were more and more dragons around him. It's impressive when so many people attack at the same time. He attacked a dragon directly, and it exploded instantly. The godly dragons were getting closer and closer to Lin Feng. Lin Feng was angry, and released sword intent as he rose up in the air, using his god's sword. Fissures appeared in the sky around him. At the same time, he accelerated and moved, condensing fast strength in his sword. The seal sounded like metal shattering as Lin Feng managed to pierce through the energies and appeared outside. He inspected the area with his godly awareness and realized that all the strong cultivators were being attacked like him. The dazzling empty space lights had turned into ancient godly dragons. Those people's sealing attacks are powerful and strange. I wonder where they are from. He saw the cultivators in white clothes looking at him, He had managed to escape from a dragon constriction attack, attracting their attention. Chapter 24-28, Familiar Sealing Strength. The young man in white clothes looked furious and called out, "Celestial horizontal chains." He put his hands on the empty space. Ancient dragons, and the other strong cultivators moved at the same time. A mighty sealing strength surged out. Lin Feng saw the cultivators who were already constricted by godly dragon chains get constricted by another layer of chains. More and more sealing layers appeared around them. Lin Feng frowned as invisible and intangible empty space chains descended from the sky. He could sense their strength, too. Lin Feng rose up in the air. He wanted to escape from those sealing chains, which were closely following him. His enemies wanted to constrict him completely. 8 celestial gates, shouted the young man icily. The group of cultivators in white clothes attacked at the same time. Celestial gates appeared in the sky. Lin Feng raised his head as the strange sealing gates came closer and closer to him. "Close!" shouted a cultivator furiously. The 8 gates descended from the sky. "Slow!" shouted Lin Feng. He was furious. These people considered everybody and everything beneath their notice. They didn't allow anyone to cast covetous eyes on the original strength entities. Lin Feng released slowness strength on the 8 gate, and a terrifying empty space strength, and his figure became blurry. "Great empty space technique," shouted Lin Feng icily. The chains shifted away from his body. He jumped into an empty space void and turned into a beam of light. He reappeared outside of the 8 gates. The group of people was astonished. A low-level saint could escape from their group attack. The attack was extremely powerful. Their sealing attacks were the best in the world. Once someone had been sealed, it was difficult for them to break free, especially once they continued releasing more and more sealing strength. They suddenly realized that Lin Feng was getting closer and closer to them. He was moving very, very quickly. The group of people was astonished. This guy was pretty brave, he dared to get closer to them. Wasn't he afraid? Lin Feng pointed a finger at them. Hell Death strength appeared. The strong cultivators in white clothes started hearing ghosts and demons howl furiously around them. Hell strength surrounded them, then demons appeared and converged on them. "It's an illusion." "Keep cold-headed," shouted the young man in white clothes. Everybody was startled. Their enemy controlled illusion original strength, and he was a low-level saint, they had to be careful. Illusion original strength was a terrifying kind of original strength. At such high levels, one thought sufficed to trap people in illusions. Inside illusions, cultivators could barely protect themselves. They could be killed easily. Those who controlled more than just illusion original strength were even more terrifying. "Seal the space!" shouted the group of people icily. Sealing strength filled the area again. They sealed the atmosphere around them. They saw Lin Feng attack their sealing strength frantically, but he didn't manage to destroy it. They smiled icily. "Get ready to attack and kill him," ordered the young man in white clothes. The cultivators in white clothes nodded and released even more sealing strength. "Open." They opened the sealing strength and converged on Lin Feng. Life seal. Sealing patterns appeared one after another and moved towards Lin Feng. His life strength was being drained out. He was dying. He overestimated himself. The young man in white clothes smiled icily. At that moment, he sensed danger, and their faces stiffened. "Be careful, seal your own bodies," shouted the young man in white clothes. His friends sealed their bodies with the celestial sealing gates. As they did, an incredible destructive strength filled the air, and a curtain of sword chi appeared. How is that possible? When they saw the sword, they were astonished. They were convinced they had killed him. How had he survived? Illusion. They suddenly understood. They were still in the illusion, they hadn't managed to break free at all. And now they couldn't protect themselves inside. It was the problem with illusions, you believed you broke free but actually you were still inside. It was the scariest part of illusions. They sealed their bodies or ran away, but they were so slow. Their enemy's attack was extremely fast as lightning. The sword instantly cut apart a saint, and his soul dispersed. No, there was a scream as another saint was killed. The god's sword was terrifying. In the blink of an eye, 2 people had been killed. Ancient sealing gates suddenly appeared and moved towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng withdrew and jumped into an empty space. He was startled to recognize that it was a kind of spirit he had seen a long time ago. Before breaking through to the Huangqi layer, cultivators used their spirits a lot. When they became emperors, their spirits fused together with their blood. They became an inherent strength, an ability, a part of a cultivator's body. Emperors could use their blood strength to use similar abilities after that. That was why really strong cultivators' descendants also had incredible spirits, because it was a part of their blood. It was why someone who had an incredible sealing soul also had incredible sealing abilities, especially after becoming an emperor. "You want to die," shouted the young man in white clothes furiously. He had just been acknowledged by his teacher, many people admired him, and his teacher had granted him the original strength entities, but told him to pick them up himself. That was why he was there. Their teacher had told them that the world was chaotic, so he had told them to get ready to travel and become famous in a chaotic world. However, they had just come down their mountain, and now someone was already killing them. They were getting killed in the lower world, it was humiliating. If they went back and told their group that some of them had been killed, their fellow disciples would make fun of them. He released a great sealing strength, and the atmosphere became dark. More gates appeared. There are sealing gates everywhere. Lin Feng was impressed. Indeed, he had already seen such gates before, but these were much, much more powerful. "Stop!" shouted someone at that moment. Lin Feng was startled, but the space was sealed and he didn't know who was shouting. The young man tried to look as if he hadn't heard anything. "Di Shi, you're ignoring me?" asked that voice. The young man in white clothes frowned, and came back to his senses. "How come he's here?" Chapter 24-29, Saint Feng Mo. When Di Shi heard that, the sealing gates disappeared. Everything returned to normal. "Ninth fellow disciple, what are you doing here?" asked Di Shi, smiling unhappily and looking at another cultivator in white clothes. He wasn't happy. Before recruiting him, his teacher already had 9 direct disciples, but Di Shi only admired the first 8 ones, because they were extraordinarily strong. He didn't like the 9th because he wasn't that strong. He had been a low-level saint for a shorter time than he had. According to rumors, the 9th disciple had become their teacher's disciple only because he knew their teacher from before. Otherwise, their teacher would have never recruited someone like him. Therefore, Di Shi didn't like him much. After all, he had just become his teacher's disciple, so he had to respect him. He couldn't wait to rise up in the hierarchy of the group, and then he would forget about 9th quickly. "Come and see," said the young man in the sky indifferently. He hadn't been recruited by his teacher very long ago either, only a few dozen years. Someone had taken him to a mysterious and incredibly powerful group, and he had been accepted as a disciple of an incredibly strong cultivator. He didn't know much about his teacher in comparison with the other disciples. He felt a bit lonely. He also knew that Di Shi didn't like him. Of course, he didn't care about him. "Brother Lin Feng, we finally meet again," said the young man, smiling at Lin Feng. Lin Feng was astonished, he couldn't believe it his eyes. That little boy had become so strong. A long time ago, he had understood that that little boy had an incredible strength. They hadn't seen each other for such a long time, he had never heard of him since. This time, that little boy was the fellow disciple of those people in white clothes. He also understood that those people's influential group was incredible, from what he had heard so far. Their teacher had even offered them those original strength entities. Of course, Lin Feng was happy for him. Back in the days, he was also quite strong. Finally, he had found a group. It was definitely due to his innate abilities and talent. Duan Feng, smiled Lin Feng. This young man was Duan Feng. They had met in their home world, in Xueyu, long ago. He used to be a member of the imperial family of Xueyu. When Di Shi heard them, he was astonished. They knew each other. Brother Lin Feng, even though I was recruited by my teacher a short time ago, I know you're famous. Back then, I saw you at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, and I also saw the shrines attack you. Recently, I heard you were safe and sound. I was so happy for you. You will definitely become a high-level saint soon. I've always known that, replied Duan Feng, smiling and landing next to Lin Feng. The crowd of people in white clothes were really stupefied now. Lin Feng, they had heard that name before. This was Lin Feng. They had underestimated people from the lower world. Lin Feng was there, too. So, our 9th fellow disciple is one of Lin Feng's friends. What a misunderstanding, Di Shi spoke up suddenly. He smiled at Lin Feng and said, Brother Lin, what just happened was a misunderstanding, I'm sorry. Lin Feng glanced at Di Shi. They were Duan Feng's fellow disciples. He couldn't say much. He just nodded, let's forget about it now, then. Alright, but Brother Lin, this place is a gift my teacher gave to me, at least the original strength entities within. My 9th fellow disciple also knows that. I hope you won't try and steal those gifts, said Di Shi. Even though he was polite, he was also firm. He was telling Lin Feng he had to conduct himself well. He didn't want Lin Feng to steal the original strength entities. Duan Feng couldn't say anything about it either. Your teacher is the demon sealer, said Lin Feng. It wasn't clear whether he was asking Duan Feng or Di Shi. Brother Lin Feng, I'll tell you more about that, said Duan Feng. He looked at Di Shi and said, you already have your gift. Bring the others away now. Di Shi was surprised, and looked unhappy. Duan Feng was being a bit too pressing suddenly. Wait until the teacher respects me enough, I'll show you, thought Di Shi. He had just become his teacher's disciple, he couldn't be too defiant. He had to submit this time. No problem, fellow disciple. I'm off. I'll go and see our teacher to thank him. I will also tell him about what the situation looks like here. We'll see what he thinks. The passages between the higher and the lower worlds are open, so I'm afraid this place will attract many people's attention. So, we'll see if he wants to take all the original strength entities away or not, said Di Shi calmly. Duan Feng replied indifferently, if you like. Let's go, Di Shi smiled. He waved and rose up in the air with the others, looking quietly furious. Lin Feng watched them leave. Duan Feng said, Brother Lin Feng, let's find a place to talk. Alright, let's head to the Holy Spirit Dynasty. Let's talk and move at the same time, said Lin Feng, glancing around. They flew away quickly. Brother Lin Feng, back then, when I was in the Ba Huang province in our home world, someone took me away and taught me a lot. He's my current teacher, said Duan Feng told him. Lin Feng nodded and waited. At the beginning, he just taught me about cultivation. He didn't let me become his disciple officially, even if I already considered him as my teacher. Long after that, I became a saint and he decided to recruit me officially. Even though I've always known he was extremely strong, I only realized how strong he really was when I became his disciple officially. The world is gigantic, there are many powerful groups. Apart from the shrines, there are invisible groups, who are mysterious and hold themselves aloof from the world. I'm not surprised, said Lin Feng. He knew a lot more about the worlds these days. Indeed. My teacher is Feng Imo. In our small world, he was known as the legendary cultivator who could seal incredibly powerful demons, the demon sealer. Many years ago, he was very famous. Many strong cultivators feared him in the outside world. He wasn't interested in power, though, and created his own world. Time passed and people seldom heard about him in the outside world. He just became a legend. Many people don't even know who Feng Mo or the Demon Sealer is, only old, powerful cultivators know him. As expected, thought Lin Feng. The great emperor, the Demon Sealer, was famous in the small world. In the small world, they thought great emperors were already incredibly powerful. To Feng Mo, a great emperor was a tiny little insect. He could kill great emperors with the tip of his finger. Did your teacher create our small world? Asked Lin Feng. There was a sealed area in the Huang Sea. It had the same shape as Xueyu. According to legends, it had been created by the Demon Sealer. Yes. Xueyu is my teacher's native land. Xueyu is the place where we grew up, but once, it was a small country in the great world. My teacher comes from there. After a great battle happened in the ancient days, the continent of the 9 clouds became chaotic, and brought people much misery and suffering. Xueyu was destroyed, and my teacher created a small world and put Xueyu in there. That's where we grew up. My teacher also lived there once. As a result, he left his traces everywhere, replied Duan Feng. Lin Feng realized he had guessed right. The 3 Lives Emperor's demon clone had been sealed by Feng Mo. What about Empress Shi and the 9 Netherworld's Emperor's graves? What were the details? Also, why did the members of the imperial city of Xueyu have a sealing gate spirit? Feng Mo lived in Xueyu before, realized Lin Feng. In his life, he had seen some extraordinary cultivators who had ordinary lives in small places. They hid their cultivation, they had lots of time, and they had lots of families. Maybe that was Feng Mo's case, too. So Xueyu's imperial family, your family, the Duans, do they have your teacher's blood? Lin Feng asked. Even though he never told me the truth, I think it's the case. But he must have many families, and he doesn't really care, I guess. He just created Xueyu, a family is like a house he would have built. If I had been weak, he wouldn't have cared about me, and he wouldn't have recruited me, replied Duan Feng. Lin Feng nodded. Indeed, such cultivators had feelings, but only to a certain extent. They didn't really care about their family members. Duan Feng probably had such a relationship with Feng Mo because they had the same blood and he was talented. Chapter 2430, Lost Country. The Holy Spirit Dynasty was the same as before. The previous time Lin Feng had been there, the Fire Shrine's members had sent some people to attack Lin Qiongsheng. Luckily, Lin Feng had arrived and had pretended to be a strong cultivator from the Fortune Shrine. Now, Lin Feng didn't know where his son Lin Qiongsheng was, or what had become of him. At the same time, because of the particular status of the Holy Spirit Dynasty, the other dynasties didn't like it. They wanted to destroy it, but as long as Lin Feng was alive, nobody would be able to destroy them, including the animal district. There were many strong cultivators in the region since the lower and higher worlds were now connected, but the Holy Spirit Dynasty was the same as before, it hadn't changed. Lin Feng was famous, and that was probably one of the reasons why people feared him. Lin Feng and Duan Feng arrived. Holy Emperor Ling came out to greet Lin Feng personally, because he liked him a lot. He was the father of their future Holy Emperor. Lin Feng had transmitted his blood to their descendants, so they were connected now. Lin Feng. Many strong cultivators came out to greet him. They looked at him and didn't notice anything about him particularly, but they didn't doubt that he had become much stronger. Dozens of years had passed, it wasn't a long time, but they could see that Lin Feng had changed. Holy Emperor. Lin Feng replied. Is Qiongxing here? Holy Emperor Ling shook his head and said, I don't know where he is. I haven't heard anything from him since. He never contacted me. He's a bit too hands-off, said Lin Feng, smiling wryly. Lin Feng, who's this? Asked Holy Emperor Ling, looking at Duan Feng. His qi looked extraordinary. My friend, Duan Feng. Lin Feng, Duan Feng, let's go inside to talk, said Holy Emperor Ling. They all entered the dynasty's territory. Holy Emperor Ling, so many years have passed. Has Qi Tian Holy Town changed a lot? Asked Lin Feng. Of course, there have been great changes. All the dynasties have changed. The Holy Spirit dynasty is the dynasty which has changed the least, especially since many strong cultivators from the higher world come here. There are many battles and so on, changes are normal and expected. The reason why not so many things changed here in the Holy Spirit dynasty is that we're half stuck. Half stuck? Asked Lin Feng. Yes, you know there are conflicts between the other dynasties and the Holy Spirit dynasty. They don't want us to rise. We can't do anything without being watched. They just don't dare attack us directly, that's all, said Holy Emperor Ling. Lin Feng nodded and said, it's going to stop. Holy Emperor, send some people to the most powerful groups and have them convey a message from me, tell them I want all their leaders to come to the Holy Spirit dynasty, Lin Feng said calmly. Even though he sounded calm, it made Holy Emperor Ling and the other strong cultivators of the Holy Spirit dynasty tremble. How crazy! Have all the dynasty's leaders come? I don't think they'll come, replied Holy Emperor Ling, just transmit my message. If they don't come, it's their choice, said Lin Feng. Holy Emperor Ling smiled and nodded, all right, we'll see if they come. It's their decision. The first thing Holy Emperor Ling wanted to do didn't surprise Lin Feng, he organized a huge banquet for him. But Lin Feng didn't want one, so he said, I'm just going back to where I was before. You can let the other dynasty's leaders stay in those great and magnificent places. All right, I'll be waiting for you here, said Holy Emperor Ling. He knew how Lin Feng was. He smiled as Lin Feng and Duan Feng left. Lin Feng went back to the place he used to share with Tang Yuyu, and they watched the sunset. Duan Feng, where is your teacher? Asked Lin Feng out of curiosity. Feng Mo was a mysterious and legendary cultivator. Where had he created his group? Of course, if it's a secret, you don't need to tell me, Lin Feng added quickly. It's all right. It's not a secret for everybody. I would guess most of the shrine saints know where he established his sect. Why have I never read anything about him, then? Asked Lin Feng. He didn't understand. Because even if you had read about it, you wouldn't necessarily be able to go there, so writing about it would be useless, said Duan Feng with a smile. My teacher's sect is in the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds, in a place called Sealed Imprint Mountain. Brother Lin Feng, do you know where Sealed Imprint Mountain is in the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds? How could I guess? He shook his head. Duan Feng was creating suspense. The Lost Country, Duan Feng stated calmly. Lin Feng was astonished. The Lost Country? He had heard that name before, of course. Sealed Imprint Mountain is situated in the Lost Country, whispered Lin Feng. Indeed, one of the 7 forbidden territories, the Lost Country, said Duan Feng, bursting into laughter when he saw Lin Feng's flabbergasted face. Apart from Sealed Imprint Mountain, other people couldn't go there unless someone gave them directions. How do you go there? Asked Lin Feng. He was really curious now. The Lost Country was one of the 7 forbidden territories, a famous place. According to legends, the Lost Country used to be an incredible country with many strong cultivators. There used to be many demon and ghost cultivators there. One day, they faced a catastrophe, the gods abandoned them, and their nation had turned into ruins and desolation. Now many incredible cultivators were sealed in there, and many people had died there. Of course, it was a legend, which didn't prove anything, and going inside could be deadly. Few people dared go there. Yet now Duan Feng was telling Lin Feng that Sealed Imprint Mountain was in the Lost Country. We have a special way to avoid danger, we can go straight to the sect. The sect is in a sealed area. It's not really a mountain, it's a world created by my teacher. I see. I'm curious, I wish I could meet your teacher, murmured Lin Feng. I'll take you there sometime. Even though his world can't be as big as the continent of the 9 clouds, it's still amazing there. Your teacher doesn't allow people to come and go as they wish, right? Lin Feng smiled. Correct, most people don't know about the world, only some people who practice in Sealed Imprint Mountain know about it and can go there. You can only go with prior authorization. I understand, Lin Feng nodded. Outside of the Holy Spirit dynasty, an incredible chi filled the air. A group of strong cultivators arrived and entered the Holy Spirit dynasty. One of the guards stopped them and smiled, please stop here. Is this a joke? The Holy Spirit dynasty invited us, and this is how you treat your guests. Have Holy Emperor Ling come here, shouted the leader of the group icily. Don't prevent Holy Emperor Qianxi from entering, shouted a voice in the distance. The guards suddenly understood, these people were from the Qianxi dynasty, and Holy Emperor Ling came out personally to greet them. Holy Emperor Ling, I trust you have been doing well since we last met, said Holy Emperor Qianxi, entering the Holy Spirit dynasty's territory. I'm all right. And guards, don't stop anyone who comes here. Many dynasties' leaders are coming to pay us a visit. Greet them warmly, said Holy Emperor Ling. Yes sir, Holy Emperor, replied the guards. They thought of Lin Feng, he had come back and now something big was going to happen. He had invited all the leaders of the dynasties here. Where is Lin Feng? Asked Holy Emperor Qianxi. He arrived in a great hall where a banquet had been prepared. He's here. He'll come soon, I guess, Holy Emperor Ling smiled. He was convinced Lin Feng knew what was going on. We came because he invited us, why isn't he here? What's that supposed to mean? Asked Holy Emperor Qianxi. He sounded unhappy. You can ask him when he arrives, Holy Emperor Ling smiled. Lin Feng could take care of everything. More and more people arrived outside. All the leaders were arriving. Chapter 24:31, Waiting. The atmosphere in the Holy Spirit dynasty was getting lively. The Holy Spirit dynasty had dispatched some people to invite these guests over. Even though the dynasty's leaders were all furious, they were also a bit frightened. Why did Lin Feng dare act so arrogantly? He had sent people to invite them to come to the Holy Spirit dynasty, it felt more like an order to come than anything else. I, Lin Feng, summon you, the dynasty's leaders. That was precisely why they were a bit worried, and that was also the reason why they had all come, they wanted to see what was happening. Now that they were here, they didn't need to be very polite because having come was already polite. Lin Feng didn't give them face, so they needed to show they were proud and dignified. Holy Emperor Ling, what does Lin Feng want? Asked the Holy Emperor of the Qin dynasty icily. However, Holy Emperor Ling just looked unmoved. He glanced around at all the strong cultivators, smiling calmly. Lin Feng was right, they had all come. Of course, it was due to the fact that Lin Feng was famous abroad. Holy Emperor Qin, don't worry. You're not the first one to ask me that. Everybody, please sit down and enjoy the banquet. Why are you all so nervous? Holy Emperor Ling smiled. Lin Feng hadn't appeared, yet so all the leaders were worried about what he was planning. How insolent, said someone icily. He looked at Holy Emperor Ling and said, I haven't left the university for years. I was invited today, so I came, and now you keep us waiting. Holy Emperor Ling looked at the speaker, it was an old man, an elder from Goblin Spirit University. People respected him because many geniuses studied at Goblin Spirit University, but Lin Feng kept him waiting. Lin Feng invited all of you, he also said you could choose not to come if you didn't want to. Now he's not here, he must have his reasons. If you want to wait, wait, if you don't feel like it you can leave, nobody is forcing you to stay, replied Holy Emperor Ling calmly. The old man pulled a long face, but he said nothing. They could stay and wait, or just leave. As they wished. Holy Emperor Ling sounded a bit haughty. How could those people not be furious? They were all extraordinary people. Nobody burst out into anger though, they just tried to put pressure on the Holy Spirit dynasty. If Lin Feng showed up and wasn't strong enough to keep them in control, then they wouldn't hesitate anymore. The banquet is for everybody, so help yourself, said Holy Emperor Ling smiling. Servants kept bringing fine liquor and food, but it didn't suffice to make those people happy. They waited for a while, and it became dark outside, the crowd grew more and more furious. Even though they all chatted, they looked dark and gloomy. Many strong cultivators just drank silently. Holy Emperor Ling was a bit surprised. What was Lin Feng doing? Was he trying to infuriate these people? Excuse me, everybody, said Holy Emperor Ling. He suddenly stood up and left. The crowd guessed he was going to go and look for Lin Feng, they couldn't do much but wait now. Holy Emperor Ling indeed went to look for Lin Feng. Lin Feng and Duan Feng were laying in the grass in a courtyard and chatting as if the outside world had nothing to do with them. They had even sealed the area with qi in order not to get disturbed by people's godly awareness. They looked completely at ease. They obviously didn't know that some of the leaders were already furious. Lin Feng shouted Holy Emperor Ling in the courtyard. Holy Emperor Ling, come in, said Lin Feng smiling. When he saw Lin Feng lying in the grass, he was annoyed and asked, all the leaders are here, aren't you going to see them? No rush. It's still early, said Lin Feng smiling. It's still early. Holy Emperor Ling's face stiffened, and he replied, those guys are all furious. If you keep making them wait, I'm afraid they will, don't worry. Nothing will happen. Even if they get furious, then what? If they want to leave, they can leave, said Lin Feng smiled. He was calm, all pale clouds and light breezes, as if it wasn't a problem at all. Holy Emperor Ling didn't understand. Lin Feng, could you please tell me what you intend to do? Asked Holy Emperor Ling, smiling wryly. Holy Emperor. Lin Feng sat up. He asked, do you remember what happened last time when I came back? Yes, there was an envoy from a shrine, and some dynasties also got involved, they wanted to attack Chongsheng. Luckily, you came back at the perfect time and solved the issue. I was astonished. Indeed. Nowadays, the continent of the 9 clouds is in a state of chaos. Nobody can escape it anywhere. If they weren't afraid of me, they could have joined hands and destroyed the Holy Spirit dynasty. What do you think? Asked Lin Feng. That's a fact, said Holy Emperor Ling, nodding agreement. Do you think we can accept a compromise, or coexist peacefully with them? Asked Lin Feng. Impossible. Therefore, this time, I want to teach them a good lesson. I want to show everyone in Chi Tian Holy Town that nobody can treat me or my family like that, I want them to remember it forever, said Lin Feng indifferently. Holy Emperor Ling smiled and nodded, all right, but some dynasties aren't our enemies, what will you do if they are furious or leave? Even if they're angry, so what? Nobody will dare attack in the Holy Spirit dynasty. If they leave, I'll invite them again, Lin Feng smiled. Including those we have tensions with. Since you have a plan, I'm not going to ask again, said Holy Emperor Ling, leaving quietly. At dawn, the atmosphere was oppressive. Lin Feng hadn't shown up at all, the leaders had been waiting the entire evening and nobody could give them an explanation. How infuriating. Holy Emperor Ling, are you humiliating us on purpose? Asked Holy Emperor Qin icily. I've also been waiting here. I told you, if you want, you can leave, said Holy Emperor Ling calmly. Holy Emperor Qin punched the table in front of him, and it exploded. Alcohol fell onto the ground. He looked dark and gloomy. Everybody, should we go? People were surprised and glanced at one another. Everybody, you must have noticed that many people are watching us from outside. People must already be talking about the fact that we've been waiting here the whole time. Do you really intend to stay here and wait? Asked Holy Emperor Qin. The crowd was surprised. They had also released their godly awareness, and noticed that some people had been watching. All the leaders of the dynasties had gathered there, how could there not be anyone outside? I agree. Let's leave, said the Holy Emperor of the Great Desert Dynasty. Since you want to leave, just leave. Nobody is forcing you to stay. Why talk so much? Said someone with a smile. It was the celestial being of the ancient Jade Dynasty. The two holy emperors looked furious. Humph. You're patient then, celestial being, said Holy Emperor Qin icily. He rose up in the air and flew away. Outside, many people saw Holy Emperor Qin leave, and whispered. He was out, he didn't want to wait anymore. Back in the days, there had been conflicts between him and Lin Feng, and now he had just been badly humiliated. Everybody, enjoy yourself. I'm off, said Holy Emperor Qin, rolling up his sleeves. Then he left, also furious. After Holy Emperor Qin, Holy Emperor Qianxi also left. 3 days later, everybody left. The hall was just empty. Holy Emperor Ling was annoyed. What was Lin Feng thinking? Even people outside who had come to watch were annoyed. What was going on? When everybody calmed down, on the 4th day, a terrifying beast landed in the Qin dynasty. It was dozens of meters tall. It could crush people with 1 foot. It went through the Qin dynasty and destroyed all their buildings, but it didn't kill anyone. Many people were panic-stricken. The Qin dynasty used their full strength to attack that beast by surprise, but nobody could compete with it. Each time the beast punched someone, they died. The beast looked for Holy Emperor Qin, and it stared at him with its gigantic eyes. It looked excited. Master, what do you want from the Qin dynasty? Asked Holy Emperor Qin when he realized how terrifying that beast was. The gigantic beast didn't reply. Holy Emperor Qin felt pressured. The gigantic beast then threw his hand at Holy Emperor Qin. He wanted to dodge but he had no time, he coughed up blood, his eyes rolled and he fell onto the ground. Chapter 24:32, Rolling up his sleeves and leaving. Master, why? Why are you doing this? Asked Holy Emperor Qin, crawling back up. He didn't understand why that beast had attacked the Qin dynasty. The gigantic beast spat out qi, but didn't say anything. He raised his hand and threw it out again. Holy Emperor Qin wanted to dodge, but he couldn't move because of the oppressive strength. Rumbling sounds spread in the air, and he crashed onto the ground hard, forming a crater. Blood splashed. The beast continued attacking. Boom boom boom. The beast continued punching him. All the members of the dynasty didn't understand, why was that beast attacking their holy emperor? The Qin holy emperor had never felt so humiliated. He was still coughing up blood. He suddenly flew away, trying to leave the dynasty. He quickly realized that the beast was attacking him and nobody else. Why? Asked Holy Emperor Qin. His bones were all broken. He wanted to escape, but the beast was much faster than him. The beast continued punching him or squashing him with his feet. How humiliating. Holy Emperor Qin had never felt this way before. He was going insane. Had he offended a terrifying cultivator? Lin Feng. Holy Emperor Qin was frightened. Was this happening because he hadn't waited for Lin Feng? But Lin Feng had done that on purpose. What was he supposed to do? Wait forever. The Tianxi dynasty is there. Holy Emperor Qin turned around and saw two people in the distance, a big one and a small one. When he saw them clearly, his face paled. Those two figures were Holy Emperor Tianxi and a gigantic beast. He wasn't the only one who was going through this. Holy Emperor Qin, shouted Holy Emperor Tianxi. His face was deathly pale. When he saw that Holy Emperor Qin was going through the same thing as him, he was stunned. Go, let's go to the Holy Spirit Dynasty. Only they can save us, shouted Holy Emperor Qin to Holy Emperor Tianxi suddenly. Yes, let's go to the Holy Spirit Dynasty. What a humiliation for us, two dynasties' leaders, agreed Holy Emperor Tianxi. He felt wretched and miserable. I feel the same, damn, said Holy Emperor Qin. He even had tears in his eyes. How miserable for two dynasties' leaders. They flew towards the Holy Spirit Dynasty as fast as they could, but on the way, the beasts continued humiliating them and hitting them. Their clothes were torn apart. They both had a running nose and sniffled, with tears in their eyes. On the way, some people saw them. They were astonished. Those two people were dynasties' leaders, and those two beasts were making them cry. They looked truly miserable. Many people even had compassion for them. Poor leaders. Holy Spirit Dynasty, we're there. Holy Emperor Qin looked like he had hope again when he saw the Holy Spirit Dynasty. Were the beasts finally going to stop humiliating them? Those beasts had even put their dirty feet on their faces. Their noses were even broken. Boom! Holy Emperor Tianxi and Holy Emperor Qin wanted to enter the Holy Spirit Dynasty, but they collided with a light curtain. Their faces became even paler. Thunder rumbled behind him. The gigantic beasts drew closer. It's a seal. Holy Emperor Qin's face was deathly pale. Behind the light curtain was Holy Emperor Ling. Holy Emperor Qin said, Holy Emperor Ling, let us come in. I thought you didn't want to stay here, Holy Emperor Qin. Why did you come back? Asked Holy Emperor Ling indifferently. I want to keep the appointment, said Holy Emperor Qin, forcing himself to smile. But when he said that, he raised his head and saw a gigantic stinky foot move towards his face again. He wanted to dodge, but heavy strength oppressed him and squashed his face. The beast wiped his foot on his face. Holy Emperor Qin's pale face turned red. He looked at Holy Emperor Ling and said, Holy Emperor Ling, I was wrong, I offended you, I'm so sorry, I want to keep the appointment, please let me back in. After you left, we cancelled the banquet, we're not receiving guests anymore. Sorry, said Holy Emperor Ling indifferently. Holy Emperor Qin's face paled again. The gigantic beast squashed Holy Emperor Qin's face again. Holy Emperor Qin crashed onto the ground and crawled back up on his knees. Holy Emperor Qin, what are you doing? You're a holy emperor, I can't stand seeing you like this. If you really insist, I'll go and see Lin Feng, said Holy Emperor Ling sighed. Holy Emperor Qin wanted to kill Lin Feng so bad, so he was the one who had sent those evil creatures. Thank you so much, said Holy Emperor Qin standing up. However, Holy Emperor Ling didn't move. He just giggled and looked at him. Holy Emperor Qin's face turned even paler. He realized something. What banquet? Lin Feng had done this on purpose. If I don't kneel down, the beast will squash my face again, thought Holy Emperor Qin, realizing what was going on. He felt so miserable and pathetic, but it was the truth, the sad and cruel truth. He had joined hands with a shrine hoping they would kill Lin Qiongsheng, and now Lin Feng was back and he wanted to get his revenge. And now, even if Lin Feng destroyed his dynasty, he wouldn't be able to do much about it. How tragic, how humiliating. Lin Feng, I will definitely see you die someday, shouted Holy Emperor Qin inside. He knew he couldn't surpass Lin Feng, but he hoped he would die, and then it would be the Holy Spirit Dynasty's Judgment Day. Boom boom. When the Tianxi Dynasty's Holy Emperor saw that Holy Emperor Qin was kneeling down, he did the same. He had also had conflicts with Lin Feng back in the days. Lin Feng hadn't destroyed their dynasties entirely, he had just humiliated them. On that day, the atmosphere outside of the Holy Spirit Dynasty got very busy. Leaders of universities and other powerful groups came and begged to see Lin Feng. All those strong cultivators gathered there, but Lin Feng didn't show up. Holy Emperor Ling went to Lin Feng's courtyard, raised his head and heard Lin Feng's voice, "Holy Emperor, I'm leaving those bestial saints here, they will protect the Holy Spirit Dynasty. If anything happens, you can give them orders. I'm off." He just heard Lin Feng, but didn't see him. "You're free and unrestrained. A group of strong cultivators is waiting outside and you're leaving it to me," said Holy Emperor Ling, shaking his head and smiling wryly. Lin Feng didn't feel like wasting his time with those people. If he wanted, he could kill them in a flash, but he didn't. He just wanted everybody in Qi Tian Holy Town to remember him and to know that the Holy Spirit Dynasty was powerful. And he didn't even show up. "Lin Feng, I'm sure people will remember you for a very, very long time in the continent of the Nine Clouds," replied Holy Emperor Ling, before turning around and slowly walking away. He arrived outside, where the ceiling strength had already disappeared. The beasts looked at the sky. They were half-bestial saints from the starry sky world. Their leader had asked them to protect the Holy Spirit Dynasty. Lin Feng said he didn't want to see you. "Please leave," said Holy Emperor Ling, waving his hand. Those people's faces paled, they were terrified. The leader of the university who had burst into anger the previous time shuddered with fear. "Holy Emperor Ling, please help us and tell him we wish we could see him." "Yes, please, Holy Emperor Ling," said Holy Emperor Qin. He had the impression the beast would squash his face any time again with his dirty feet. Holy Emperor Ling had cold sweats. He looked at the gigantic beasts and said, "Masters, please come back in." "Yes, we have received orders from our master," the beasts replied. They shrank down and entered the Holy Spirit Dynasty. "All right, everybody, please go back," said Holy Emperor Ling. Those people glanced at one another and asked Holy Emperor Ling, "Really?" "Really," Holy Emperor Ling nodded. "Thank you very much," said Holy Emperor Qin and the others, standing up. They turned around and left as fast as they could. They felt so humiliated. When they left, flames of fury appeared in their eyes. Holy Emperor Ling understood that, but he didn't care anymore. Those beasts could protect the Holy Spirit Dynasty. It was difficult to imagine how strong Lin Feng would become within 1,000 or even 10,000 years. Chapter 2433, Treasure Hall in the Imperial Court of the Continent of the Nine Clouds, in the Fortune Shrine. There were gigantic mountains and waterfalls coming from the sky. They were magnificent and grandiose. Lin Feng was walking in the Fortune Shrine. Many people looked at him in surprise. They smiled and said, "Brother Lin Feng." Lin Feng also replied and smiled back. Even though many things had happened in the Fortune Shrine because of him, he rarely spent time with the others. He only spent time with the diviner. "Lin Feng, you're back," said an old man walking past Lin Feng, and smiling. "Yes, I'm back," Lin Feng smiled. He didn't recognize anyone, but they all recognized him. Lin Feng slowly walked towards a waterfall. At the top of the waterfall, there was a figure, graceful and elegant. She smiled broadly when she saw him. "Meng Qing," said Lin Feng. He flew up in the air and landed next to Meng Qing. He stretched his arms and caressed her wan and sallow face. He smiled gently and said, "Silly girl." Meng Qing laughed and said nothing. She put her head on Lin Feng's shoulder and her eyes turned red. You left for so long, don't do that again, whispered Meng Qing. Lin Feng felt guilty. He nodded and said, I will always take you with me in the future. You said it, said Meng Qing, raising her head and smiled softly. Indeed, Lin Feng nodded. They both sat down on a gigantic stone and gazed into the distance. The landscapes were incredible here. Any news from Zhetian? Asked Lin Feng. No. I don't know where he is. He has the same personality as you back in the days. Like father, like son, Lin Feng grinned. But while you were away all those years, many things happened to the Fortune Shrine. The continent of the 9 clouds is now in a state of chaos. More and more shrines want to fight against the Fortune Shrine, and the shrines are also starting to fight for supremacy. During times of prosperity, people don't really fight over territories that much. But now that the world is in a state of chaos, resources are scarce and influential groups start fighting over territories. All the influential groups want to gain some mysterious worlds or places where there are precious things. They want to use resources for geniuses, so the competition is even more fierce. Lin Feng understood that. If the Fortune Shrine controlled a city, it meant that the resources in that city also belonged to the Fortune Shrine, and whenever new geniuses appeared in that city, then the Fortune Shrine could also recruit them. When the world was in a state of chaos, it lasted for thousands and thousands of years. The situation couldn't be solved from one day to another, so the shrines had to do their best. So anyway, what I wanted to say is, 7 years ago, the Fortune Shrine decided to recruit core disciples every 10 years. The core disciples can then all compete, no matter what their cultivation level is. Your friends, Ho Qing Lin, Jun Mo Shi, and someone else came back, they want to try and become core disciples in the Fortune Shrine. Lin Feng smiled, you saw Brother Ho and Jun Mo Shi? Yes, they came to see you, but then they found out you weren't here, said Meng Qing nodding. How are they doing? Asked Lin Feng. Very good. In 3 years you'll be able to see them, said Meng Qing smiling. Great, in 3 years then, Lin Feng nodded. He grabbed Meng Qing's hand and said, come, I want to take you somewhere. Meng Qing was curious. They walked towards an ancient palace. They both entered the cultivation room, Lin Feng waved his hand and a praying mat appeared. Let's go in. Lin Feng and Meng Qing stepped onto the praying mat, lights flashed and they both disappeared, quickly reappearing in the starry sky world. Meng Qing was stupefied when she saw the landscapes. This wasn't Lin Feng's world. Where are we? Asked Meng Qing. A god's world, Lin Feng smiled. Meng Qing, I disappeared for a few years because I was stuck in a forbidden territory. You probably know about that. Then, I found the godly graves, God's historical remains, this starry sky world. This world was created by a god. The news that many people came out of the historical remains quickly spread. There are also many strong cultivators from other worlds. Everybody knows about that now. I would never have thought it all happened because you obtained the god's world, answered Meng Qing, smiling sweetly. It meant that the god had chosen Lin Feng as an heir. Let's go. There are many places here. I don't even know what to do with all these places, said Lin Feng. Their figures flickered, and they went to a few ancient star palaces. Lin Feng and Meng Qing entered one of them. Dazzling lights surrounded Meng Qing, which made her shiver. There are saints' weapons everywhere. Meng Qing was stunned. There were saints' weapons everywhere, blades, spears, swords, halberds, axes, bows and arrows, whips, armors, gourds, rainbow cups. It was incredible, the palace was filled with treasures. Those are saints' weapons the god obtained back in the days. He practiced cultivation for a very long time, and obtained many saints' weapons. The saints' weapons in this palace are all the best low-level saints' weapons you can find. In the other rooms, you can find medium-level Saints weapons, high-level Saints weapons, Peerless Saints weapons, but I can only enter 2 rooms. I'll take you to the second one, Lin Feng told Meng Qing. He took her to another room. An incredible energy filled the air there. There were even more Saints weapons, all of them dazzling. In the outside world, people would go insane for them, he could only tell Meng Qing about them. He didn't even tell his teachers about them. People were envious. He had given his teachers many things, but not as incredible as these things because he didn't want enemies to kill his teachers to steal their weapons. Meng Qing, choose a weapon you want, said Lin Feng, smiling at her. Everything he had in life, he wanted to share with Meng Qing. Meng Qing and his friends were strong enough, he wanted to help them all become stronger. I can't use Saints weapons, I'm too weak, so I'll choose one for defense so that you don't need to worry about me, she agreed. Alright, choose something to protect your physical body and soul. When you become a saint, you'll choose some for attacks, he told her. He didn't need Meng Qing to become incredibly strong and reach the clouds, he just wanted her to be safe. He could do the rest himself. Meng Qing chose a soft armor and a saint's soul sword. The sword could protect her when someone attacked her soul, so even if a saint attacked her by surprise, she wouldn't die. Don't spoil just me. Give some to the others, too. They're all in your small world, aren't they? She prodded him. I will go and see them, my world is becoming more and more perfect. They like calm and tranquility. This world is dangerous, so I will ask them, said Lin Feng smiling. Yes, respect is the most important thing, Meng Qing agreed. Let's go. I'll take you to a place perfect to practice cultivation, said Lin Feng, dragging her along. They soon arrived in a cultivation palace. Meng Qing, this place is perfect to study celestial Dao strength. It's perfect to try and break through to the Xing layer. You should practice here for a while, he said to her. Alright, but don't worry if I don't manage to break through to the Xing layer, said Meng Qing. They both smiled. She started meditating and Lin Feng went to another room. It was good to practice cultivation too, but it was also suitable to practice special saint spells, as it helped saints improve their fighting abilities. Lin Feng controlled several types of original strength. He wanted to become stronger and increase his fighting abilities. He was a low-level saint now, and he wanted to have no enemy at the same cultivation level. Chapter 24-34, Together Lin Feng entered the palace and some intent surrounded him. It was a mysterious world. The place was dark, and Lin Feng couldn't see much, even with his godly awareness. However, at that moment, some light appeared and illuminated the space around him. After that, a second light appeared, and a third one. The lights kept twinkling on. Millions of lights appeared, the space around him turned into a starlit sky. The stars were dazzling. Some kind of intent. Lin Feng was surprised, all the stars seemed to be changing every second. It was an incredible sight. However, at that moment, all the stars disappeared, and the space became dark again. It made Lin Feng feel uncomfortable, as it lasted for a while. Lin Feng sat down cross-legged patiently. Since that palace aimed at improving cultivators' fighting abilities, he didn't mind being patient and staying there for a while. Suddenly, the lights appeared again. Lin Feng had the impression those lights were as sharp as blades in his eyes, so he closed them. It was very difficult to describe how he felt. The first kind of strength is accumulation, the second type is explosiveness. The goal is to accumulate strength until it becomes explosive, like the god's sword, murmured Lin Feng. The intent in the space around him changed again as it attracted star original strength. Finally, Lin Feng saw the intent invade the space around him, as a kind of finger attack. One finger seemed like it could move through space and time. It contained an endless number of dazzling lights, and also contained destructive strength. Only that finger was left in the space around. Some explosive strength made the space look even darker. It absorbed all the dazzling lights around, the stars condensed into that finger, it was impossible to escape from it. Lin Feng had the impression he was hallucinating. That attack pierced through him, even if his eyes were closed, he still had the impression the attack had pierced through his brain. It gave him chills. That one finger uses star original strength, similar to light in space original strength. That attack is so powerful. Even though the ruler's sword attack was powerful, it didn't use original strength in such a perfect way. That kind of finger technique can improve my ruler's sword attack. He was meditating calmly. He started using his ruler's sword. He made it condense again, trying to make it as explosive as possible. After Lin Feng finished studying, he went to another room. They each contained different sorts of intent. He visualized different sorts of saints' techniques. Lin Feng had the impression he was becoming much more erudite quickly. He was amazed by the power of original strength. He was focused and enjoyed learning. 3 years passed extremely quickly, it felt like minutes for Lin Feng. He went to see Meng Qing and they left the star world. "How do you feel?" asked Lin Feng to Meng Qing. "I learned so much, I think I could become a saint soon," replied Meng Qing happily. You must have progressed a lot during those 3 years, right?" "Yes, I studied several things. I understand original strength even better. I understand what I have to do to increase my own saint's techniques now," he replied. During those 3 years, he had indeed progressed a lot. The god saint's techniques must be incredible. "Yes, I saw a technique where he just stretched his arm out and he could pick up the sun, the moon, and the stars. Nothing could stop him. It was incredible," Lin Feng sighed. He had seen such an attack in the past, the 2 strong cultivators of the giant god's clan had such an attack, but it was much weaker than the god's own. "Lin Feng, you're back," said someone at that moment. Lin Feng was startled and smiled at Meng Qing and told her, "I'll go and see the diviner." "All right," she assented. Lin Feng sped off and quickly arrived in another ancient palace, it was also a starry sky world. "Master," Lin Feng said to the diviner. "You went to the godly grave and a few decades later, you came out and you were a low-level saint already. Your cultivation speed is astonishing," said the diviner, smiling at Lin Feng gently. "But don't be too proud. The world is in a state of chaos. Many terrifyingly strong people travel the world. I found some people whose cultivation speeds were terrifying as well, and I recruited them. I understand. At my cultivation level, cultivation speed is not the most important thing. We have to see how strong someone can get in the end," said Lin Feng calmly. "No, you're wrong. If the world wasn't in a state of chaos, you would be right. But now the world is different, speed is extremely important. You might be more talented than someone else, but if they reach a higher cultivation level than yours more quickly, then you're doomed. If the fortune shrine doesn't raise geniuses quickly enough, we'll be doomed," said the diviner. Lin Feng's heart twitched. "Who is stronger these days?" asked Lin Feng. "The situation is too chaotic, we can't be sure. Anyway, everybody is very nervous and every day, every year, everything changes. But all of this has nothing to do with you. Lin Feng, I hope that you will become a high-level saint as soon as possible. Of course, I also hope you'll become a peerless saint someday. Before that happens, you don't need to fight against the other shrines directly. Only high-level saints can help," asked Lin Feng, smiling wryly. "Indeed. Great emperors represent the lower strata. High-level saints are the pillars because they are the only ones who can keep the situation under control. Regarding battles to death, peerless saints control the whole situation, and we haven't reached that point yet. The star priest of the fortune shrine, a peerless saint, has already started recruiting disciples. Do you know what that means? It means that the situation of the continent of the 9 clouds will change thoroughly. Maybe another great war like long ago will take place. Yes, people in the future will maybe consider our war to be like the war of the ancient days. Usually, our Peerless star priest practices cultivation to try and become a god, but now, he's recruiting disciples. The Peerless saints of the other shrines are doing the same. Lin Feng nodded. The situation was becoming serious. Anyway, don't worry about those things. Right now, you can't battle, or at least, you can't participate as Lin Feng. You can use another face and chi to participate. Your fate is more important than the fate of 100 people. You need to become a high-level saint as quickly as possible so that we can use you in battles. I understand, Lin Feng said firmly. I won't put pressure on you. You know what to do. Go to Fortune City. Your friends are back, said the diviner, smiling at him. My friends are back. Lin Feng looked surprised. Do you think they have the potential to become core disciples? Yes, said the diviner agreeably. Lin Feng was pleasantly surprised, so he left immediately. He left the palace and descended from the sky, releasing his godly awareness to inspect the area. Many people raised their heads in Fortune City, sensing something. Ho Qinglin and Jun Mo Shi sensed it, too. They raised their heads, and Ho Qinglin said, "What a terrifying godly awareness strength. That's someone from the shrine." People in Fortune City are all members of the Fortune Shrine, Jun Mo Shi laughed. Half, said Ho Qinglin smiling. At that moment, a voice said to them telepathically, Brother Ho, Jun Mo Shi. Lin Feng. Ho Qinglin was astonishing. He raised his head and saw Lin Feng descending from the sky, grinning broadly. How come you're together? Asked Lin Feng smiling at the two of them. He landed on the ground next to them. Ho Qinglin's chi was strange. When looking at his eyes, one had the impression one could drown in space and time. Jun Mo Shi's chi was ice cold, one didn't dare get close to him. We bumped into each other while traveling, I almost died, Jun Mo Shi saved me, Ho Qinglin smiled. Nah, it's not true. I almost died, but anyway, we were lucky to find one another. If we hadn't, we would not have today's cultivation level, said Jun Mo Shi smiled. You both became saints in such a short time. Good, said Lin Feng happily. Good. There's still a huge difference between us and you. Back in the days, during the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, we were at the same level, now we're too weak to stand next to you, protested Jun Mo Shi. He had just sensed Lin Feng's terrifying godly awareness. He was still happy for him, though. Chapter 2435, Reincarnation Priest Lin Feng looked at Jun Mo Shi and shook his head with a grin. I was lucky. You came to Fortune City to become core disciples, I heard. What kind of exam do you have to take? The continent of the 9 clouds is in a state of chaos, so the exam will be a bit different. Every 10 years, there will be a round and the Fortune Shrine will recruit core disciples. People of all cultivation levels will have the opportunity to participate, and the exam will be different depending on the different cultivation levels. In any case, it will be extremely difficult. We will do our best. I hope we'll have the opportunity to become core disciples like you, Jun Mo Shi smiled. During the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, they had failed. Such opportunities were rare. Yes, it's difficult to understand the shrines if you don't become core disciples. This time, I hope we will succeed, said Ho Qinglin solemnly. When is the exam going to take place? Asked Lin Feng. In 70 days, replied Ho Qinglin. Alright, I'll take you somewhere first, then. I think it'll help you become stronger, said Lin Feng, smiling at his two friends. Ho Qinglin and Jun Mo Shi were curious when they arrived in a secret cultivation room. It was isolated from the world. Lin Feng took Jun Mo Shi and Ho Qinglin out to the star world. Jun Mo Shi and Ho Qinglin were some of his best friends. Lin Feng wanted to help them become stronger. He also wanted to give them some medium-level saints weapons. They were already saints, so they could use medium-level saints weapons even if they couldn't make the most out them. Before the exam started, Ho Qinglin and Jun Mo Shi left the star world, arriving in front of an illusory castle. It was similar to Fortune City when Lin Feng had gone there from the small world. Someone took Ho Qinglin and Jun Mo Shi into the castle while Lin Feng and the diviner stood aside. They were at the top of a mountain range and could see everything. Master, that's... Lin Feng glanced at a mountain. A waterfall coming from the sky flowed onto it. There were some old people there, their eyes closed. There were many people seated next to them, all looking down at the castle. People who organized the exam choose core disciples. Lin Feng, if you wish, you can also choose disciples, the diviner told him. That'd only harm the younger generation, said Lin Feng shaking his head. He preferred focusing on cultivation, he didn't feel like teaching. The exam is starting, whispered the diviner. Lin Feng was staring at Ho Qinglin and Jun Mo Shi. They were in the same place as some other saints who had entered the castle with them. It was a vast hilly place, many ordinary disciples of the Fortune Shrine were hiding there. They were guarding, the examinees had to break through them to move on to the next round. They're all disciples who have just become saints. So many people are hiding, breaking through must be difficult, murmured Lin Feng. Becoming a core disciple is indeed not easy, said the diviner softly. Ho Qinglin, Jun Mo Shi, and the others started moving forwards. The hills and hiding places were not real, they were made of saint strength and breaking them was impossible, so resorting to trickery was impossible, too. They have to break through and then cross a tunnel. They all have to go through 8 blockades, said the diviner. Very quickly, Ho Qinglin arrived in front of his first opponent, their battle was explosive. Ho Qinglin's reincarnation strength was incredible. He kept moving forwards with an indomitable will, flinching wasn't part of his vocabulary. Even if his opponent was extremely strong, Ho Qinglin's reincarnation strength could defeat them. Your friend is an insane fighter, the diviner observed. Back then, when we hadn't broken through to the Huang Qi layer yet, he said being insane was a necessity to become an emperor. Even though he has an exceptional talent and a distinguished appearance, his fighting method has never changed, he's always been crazy, laughed Lin Feng. Ho Qinglin's fighting abilities were indeed impressive. Even if Ho Qinglin was injured, he wanted to make his opponents drown in reincarnation strength. Nobody dared risk their life against him. Very quickly, he defeated his first opponent. Jun Mo Shi also faced his first opponent, their fight was straightforward and explosive. They had a close combat. Imperial immortal body, he looks like a king of hell, the diviner observed. At the same cultivation level, even if someone can defeat him, it's almost impossible to kill him unless the enemy has some sort of special power. The guards aren't strong enough, otherwise it would be difficult for them to move on, noted Lin Feng. Huh, you mean we should have sent core disciples who were low-level saints? That would have been extremely difficult and unfair. After all, they aren't core disciples yet. We can't only test their fighting abilities, we also need to test their intent. Ho Qinglin and Jun Mo Shi made great efforts and passed the test of the first round. Brother Ho is on the right path to create a perfect saint's technique. When he succeeds, his attacks will be even more terrifying, Lin Feng pointed out. You noticed that too? Indeed, that kind of saint's technique is great, agreed the diviner. Among the people who had just become saints, there were 28 contestants. The majority of them were people from Fortune City. At lower cultivation levels, among people who weren't saints yet, there were many, many contestants, yet only 12 people passed the first exam. Jun Mo Shi and Ho Qing Lin continued on, arriving in an illusory place. Lin Feng didn't understand what kind of exam it was. After this, their obsessiveness will be tested. It will be extremely difficult. During this part, some people will be badly injured, some of them will even die. That's scary. Lin Feng's face stiffened. Yes, we will see how determined they are. Many people are talented and good at fighting. However, intent is rare and crucial, replied the diviner grimly. The examinees continued walking in the illusion, nothing happened, but Lin Feng knew it was going to be difficult. An hour passed and someone suddenly groaned with pain and coughed up blood, his face deathly pale. Lin Feng's heart twitched, noting that person was injured. Very quickly, a second person was injured. He moved back and left, giving up. Half a day passed, and of the 12 people, 7 people were injured or gave up. Only 5 persevered. As expected, it's very difficult. Lin Feng's face stiffened. Ho Qing Lin continued moving forwards, bathing in reincarnation lights. Many shadows appeared around him. What's that? Lin Feng was astonished. Worlds of reincarnation appeared around Ho Qing Lin. Good little boy. He's very determined. He can even improve his own natural abilities like that, said the diviner. His eyes twinkled. An old man at the foot of the waterfall suddenly opened his eyes and looked at Ho Qing Lin. I want that one to become my disciple. The other old men nodded. They didn't try to steal him away. The diviner looked happy and said, Lin Feng, your friend is definitely going to become a core disciple, and he's extremely lucky. Who's that master? Asked Lin Feng. A senior official of the Fortune Shrine who hasn't shown up for tens of thousands of years. He is the reincarnation priest. Tens of thousands of years ago, he was already a peerless saint. Then, the continent of the 9 clouds became chaotic and our leader had him come back. Ho Qing Lin is going to become his disciple, that's an extraordinary opportunity for him, the diviner beamed. You know what peerless means? The reincarnation priest has made several sorts of special original strengths fused together to become a peerless saint, asked Lin Feng. He became peerless thanks to the 6 great karma will divisions, the diviner beamed. Lin Feng was impressed. His fellow disciple was going to have an incredible opportunity, indeed. The second round is about transcending worldliness, getting rid of the self. The third round is going to be easy for him. Everything will happen naturally, said the diviner. Ho Qing Lin, as expected, left the castle easily. He looked around at the crowd, seemingly surprised. Fellow disciple, congratulations, said Lin Feng to Ho Qing Lin telepathically. At that moment, Ho Qing Lin didn't understand. His facial expression was funny. Come here, the reincarnation priest said to Ho Qing Lin. Ho Qing Lin looked at him. Lin Feng said to him telepathically, brother, he's a peerless saint of the Fortune Shrine. Go. Ho Qing Lin was surprised and slowly walked towards the old man. He bowed and said, Greetings, master. Would you like to become my disciple? Asked the old man, smiling at Ho Qing Lin. Ho Qing Lin was stupefied. He said, I have 2 teachers, they're like fathers to me. I can't have another teacher. Lin Feng was astonished, but then smiled. Brother Ho was the same old Brother Ho, he hadn't changed. Alright, you refuse to forget your former teachers even when facing someone like me. Come with me, I won't force you, said the reincarnation priest. He was a bit annoyed when Ho Qing Lin had refused. But he also admired and appreciated such people. Ho Qing Lin was a good person. Thank you very much, master, said Ho Qing Lin, bowing deeply. He glanced at Lin Feng and then entered the Fortune Shrine with the reincarnation priest. Chapter 24-36, Support Needed in Diyu City. Only 3 people passed the exam at the level of new saints. After Ho Ching Lin, Jun Mo Shi also passed. He was extremely determined. The diviner thought highly of both of them. They had very different personalities. Ho Ching Lin was crazy, while Jun Mo Shi was determined. Teachers noticed them other two, but they weren't as lucky as Ho Ching Lin. No Peerless saint wanted to recruit them as disciples, so they left with high-level saints. The difference between saints of different levels was incredible. The difference between someone who had just become a saint and a high-level saint was gigantic. Therefore, they were happy anyway. There are so many great emperors, their exam lasts much longer. But 10 people at most will become core disciples, murmured the diviner, looking over the great emperors. The majority of them are geniuses from Fortune City and the passing rate is still so low. 10 disciples in a year, the exam is so difficult, whispered Lin Feng. At the scale of the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds, 10 years are nothing. Even 100 years are nothing. It's a great opportunity for many people, the diviner smiled. Lin Feng nodded. At his cultivation level, 10 years were really short. Sometimes he could practice cultivation and meditate in seclusion for a few years, and it felt as if a few days had passed. Some old members of the Fortune Shrine sometimes practiced cultivation for tens of thousands of years. Lin Feng, in the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds, the Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine keep oppressing us. They want to steal Diyu City from us. We've already sent 3 high-level saints to protect it. However, the 2 shrines are determined too. They sent 4 high-level saints, 18 low-level saints, 36 half-saints, and an army of great emperors. They sent such a terrifying army for a city. Lin Feng was astonished. When 2 shrines joined hands, things became even scarier. The shrines weren't fighting in one city only. There were explosive battles everywhere. The shrines had probably asked all their saints to come back for battles. They were getting ready for a great war. Indeed, the battles aren't happening in the shadows, the battles are now in the open and they're growing in size. For example, in the past, we used to try and keep Fortune City under control. Of course we were interested in surrounding cities, especially big ones, but now all the shrines are trying to conquer new cities, especially those in which there are influential groups. Diyu City is an extraordinary city. It's situated in the middle of the Fortune Shrine, the Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine. Many geniuses come from that city. Many of them have become powerful and influential. Many shrines' disciples are from Diyu City. Some influential groups in Diyu City are extremely powerful. Therefore, I hope we won't lose it, said the diviner grimly. Lin Feng understood. They needed to fight on all fronts. The battles were going to last for a long time, and they needed much energy. At the same time, they needed to be resistant, they needed to be able to survive until the end. Master, how may I help? Said Lin Feng. We don't have enough fighters. Apart from the strong cultivators who are in the Fortune Shrine most of the time, we also called all our strong cultivators back. We had never done that before. But even like that, we don't have enough fighters, the diviner said to Lin Feng. Last time, I told you, Peerless saints would only get involved in the end. When they fight, it will be the end of the chaotic era. Now, we're competing slowly, and high-level saints are at the core of the battles. Therefore, I hope you can become a high-level saint as soon as possible. At the level of high-level saints, our fighters have the advantage in Diyu City. But our half-saints and low-level saints are facing difficulties. I need you to use another identity and go to Diyu City to help. But first, let's wait for the 3 new recruits to become strong enough, then you'll take them there. No problem. But how long will my fellow disciple and Jun Mo Shi need before being able to go to Diyu City? Replied Lin Feng. Don't worry about that, the battles over the big cities will not end in a few years. Besides, I already told the fighters I dispatched not to fight. They can waste some time like that, we won't lose quickly that way. However, it also means that our enemies will send more and more strong cultivators there, they will have the advantage, and when you go there, things will be even more difficult. But at that moment, if we send people who can compete with all of them, we won't let any of them escape. Quality is better than quantity. That's why we're not afraid of waiting. I understand. Lin Feng nodded. At the level of saints, even if some people lost, it didn't necessarily meant their enemies could kill them unless there was a huge level difference between them. You go back. When they're ready, I'll tell you. Alright, Lin Feng agreed. He left and headed to his own palace. The diviner was in charge of establishing the military strategies of the Fortune Shrine, the Peerless Saints didn't seem to be doing anything. Lin Feng was wondering just how strong the leader of the Fortune Shrine was. And even though he was the leader, could he compete with the other Peerless Saints of the Fortune Shrine? He didn't know yet. Lin Feng didn't go far. He practiced cultivation calmly. He wanted to reach the next step of his god level. A year quickly passed, and the diviner came to him and told him to change his face. He took him to meet Jun Mo Shi and Ho Qin Lin. They're coming, too? Asked Lin Feng. There were great emperors around, they had also passed the previous exam. Yes, they are core disciples now, take them to Diyu City. After that, let Saint Qin Yi organize everything, said the diviner. All right. Lin Feng nodded and said to Ho Qin Lin and Jun Mo Shi telepathically, fellow disciple, Mo Shi, it's me, I need to hide my real identity. Call me Mu Lin now. The two were surprised, but then they understood that if the shrines knew he was Lin Feng, they would encircle him and kill him. I transmitted you the location and map of Diyu City. You can go, said the diviner patiently. All right. Lin Feng waved, and an ancient boat appeared. It was a medium-level saint's weapon, and its speed was incredible. It was perfect for the occasion. Let's go, said Lin Feng. The group of people jumped into the boat and rapidly left. The diviner watched them leave and smiled, Qin Yi, that's all I can do for you. I hope you'll claim Diyu City. Diyu City was gigantic, and there were many incredible clans there. One of them was the Yi clan. However, the Yi clan had been completely destroyed, only ruins were left. That's the Yi clan. When the group of people flew above the Yi clan in the boat, they were startled, as they only saw ruins. Yes. This is the place the diviner marked on the map. Something must have happened, murmured Lin Feng. A figure came out of the ruins and challenged them, where do you come from? Who are you? Challenged Lin Feng sharply. You recognize this? Asked the person. His third eye twinkled, it looked like a fortune star. Lin Feng and the others recognized it, a Fortune Shrine's disciple. Lin Feng and the others' third eyes also twinkled, that person nodded and said, you came to help, right? The Yi clan was attacked by surprise, come with me. All right, said Lin Feng and the others. Lin Feng asked, how bad are the losses? The battles here are direct. They know we're everywhere here, so they don't try and hide, they attack directly, mostly relying on strength. We suffered severe losses. 3 of our saints died. We also lost many great emperors. It's a tragedy. The Yi clan is completely destroyed. Lin Feng and the others took a deep breath. The Yi clan had been completely destroyed, that was a tragedy indeed. How is the Fortune Shrine's disciple who's also from the Yi clan? He escaped. He feels desperate, he wants to kill the enemies. They destroyed the Yi clan because they didn't want us to have a place to stay here. They destroyed the Yi clan as an example to others, thought Lin Feng. How tragic. They had directly destroyed the Yi clan. Chapter 2437, Counterattack. The strong cultivators of the Fortune Shrine used the Yi clan as a headquarters because a member of the Yi clan was also a core disciple of the Fortune Shrine. The Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine had decided to destroy the Yi clan to show all other clans that they better cut off ties with the Fortune Shrine. When the Yi clan was destroyed, Lin Feng and the others were already on their way. The strong cultivators of the Fortune Shrine knew that, so they had one disciple hide in the ruins to receive them. The disciple took them to an ordinary yet large courtyard. It looked ordinary from the outside and didn't attract people's attention. Lin Feng sighed. The situation was difficult for the Fortune Shrine. A group of figures arrived. When they saw Lin Feng and the others, their eyes twinkled. But they looked desperate. A middle-aged man said, "You're the only ones who came." Lin Feng was shocked. They were indeed only 4 saints. 3 of them were half-saints. No wonder the man was devastated and disappointed. These people wouldn't be able to change anything. "Yes, you know that the Fortune Shrine is under pressure. Only the 4 of us could come," replied Lin Feng. "Never mind. Let's go and see Officer Qingyi," said that person, turning around. During wartime, they called high-level saints officer. Saint Qingyi was thus an officer. The middle-aged man brought Lin Feng and the others to a building in the depths of the courtyard to talk. A few people were standing there. The leader of the group was a clean and elegant middle-aged man. He looked at Lin Feng and the others and asked, "Mu Lin." "Greetings, Officer Qingyi," Lin Feng replied. "Mu Zhen, go in and tell them their tasks," Qingyi told the middle-aged man, pointing at the great emperors. "All right." Mu Zhen nodded and left to assign different tasks to the great emperors. "You saw what happened to the Yi clan. We don't have the advantage here. If they manage to kill us, they'll take control over Diyu City," said Qingyi to Lin Feng. "I'm touched and impressed you came at such a moment, but you have to be prepared psychologically. This war is very dangerous." "I understand," said Lin Feng. "It was a battle to death. Officer Qingyi, how many saints are left on our side here?" 3 high-level saints, they aren't injured. 7 low-level saints. 17 half-saints, and that's including you guys, said Qingyi to Lin Feng. "Our enemies have joined hands. They have 4 high-level saints, 18 low-level saints, and 36 half-saints. Has anything changed?" "Yes, they now control a few clans, who have already submitted. They also took some of their strong cultivators to make them participate in the battles," said Qingyi. "The enemies didn't have fewer fighters, they had even more." "I understand," said Lin Feng. "Why did the diviner only send 4 people?" "It would have been better not to send anyone at all," spoke up the woman next to Qingyi. She looked heroic and valiant in her armor, but also annoyed. She was initially very happy. She had thought the Fortune Shrine would send many strong cultivators. In the end, they had sent only 4 saints. "Mou, you know perfectly well how the situation of the Fortune Shrine is. Don't be angry, you're too old for that. Tell Mu Lin and the others more about the situation of the shrine," Qingyi ordered the woman. Mou nodded. Even though she was annoyed, she knew things were complicated for the shrine. "Come with me," Mou told Lin Feng and the others. They moved over in front of a golden map. It was a map of Diyu City. "Mu Lin, we're here now," said Mou, pointing at place on the map. Lin Feng's heart twitched. They were stuck in a corner. "This territory is already occupied by the Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine. Here, it's the Hong clan, here the Lin clan. They are present in those 9 places. They have probably dispatched great emperors everywhere in Diyu City, first to see what's going everywhere, and second because they are about to take control over the whole city. This map is small, so it's as if they had already taken over the whole city, but Diyu City is gigantic. They're still not all together in one place," said Lin Feng. "The 9 places they occupy already have teleportation portals. They can teleport themselves everywhere in the twinkling of an eye. They also have many empty space deployment talismans. Therefore, they dispersed in 9 different places because they know they can easily meet anywhere. So attacking them is useless, as they will directly converge and attack us, said Mou. No wonder with the empty space shrine, said Jun Moshi. It didn't look good for them. We can do the same. Give me some time and I'll make some teleportation deployment talismans, said Lin Feng. You can make teleportation talismans? Asked Mou. Yes, I can, said Lin Feng nodded. Making talismans was easy for him at his cultivation level, and he also controlled empty space type original strength. Therefore, his teleportation talismans were definitely going to be good. Good news then. If you can make teleportation talismans, even if they encircle us, if we use the talismans before they seal the area around us, we'll be fine. If we want to seal the area around them, they'll also use teleportation talismans immediately. No wonder. We didn't have the advantage from the beginning, thought Lin Feng. Mou showed them where they could stay. Lin Feng made some talismans for a few days. He gave them to everybody, relieving them greatly. They hadn't felt so assured for a while, but still, they couldn't gain the advantage. Mou, come with me, Lin Feng said to Mou. Her eyes twinkling, she followed Lin Feng. As they arrived in front of the golden map, Lin Feng showed her the Hong clan and said, they have 18 low-level saints, they occupy 9 places, therefore, each of their places has around 2 low-level saints. Let's go and destroy one of their territories. We can only attack once by surprise, and if we do, they'll be very vigilant, they might even chase us. It's a bad choice, said Mou shaking her head. Don't exaggerate. The 5 of us can go, that's more than enough, said Lin Feng. Mou was stupefied, the 5 of us. She glanced at Jun Moshi and Ho Chin Lin. If the 5 of them went, it'd be extremely dangerous, and they would definitely not be able to defeat their opponents. Indeed, the 5 of us, you don't trust me, said Lin Feng to Mou. It's not that, but we're such a small force, we can't do anything, said Mou frowning. Let's try and see. Don't forget, we also have very powerful deployment talismans. You tried one, we can use them and leave instantly, said Lin Feng smiled. Don't worry. I am not going to put my life at stake recklessly. Mou was surprised, she looked at him and said, all right, Mu Lin. What kind of strength do you control? It's quite complex to explain. You? Asked Lin Feng. Empty space sealing strength and world creation, replied Mou. Lin Feng's eyes twinkled as Mou continued talking, but it's not very useful. We don't have many people, so our enemies won't let us escape. And if we aren't able to destroy them quickly, even if they're weaker than us, they'll call their friends and they'll be there instantly, and then we'll be in danger. I know what to do. So just tell me, will you help or not? Asked Lin Feng, staring at Mou. Mou's eyes glittered, and she nodded, I'll try and help you. Alright, let's go to the Lin clan first, said Lin Feng. He turned around and started walking away. Mou hadn't thought Lin Feng would be so determined. She followed him and asked, why the Lin clan? There can never be too much subterfuge in war, said Lin Feng calmly. He left the building and they flew into the air. After they left, 3 people appeared in the building, one of them Saint Qinyi. He watched them leave and smiled. That's the boy all the shrines want. I wonder if he can prove himself on the battlefield of Diyu City. Maradeva had him come to Diyu City, he has something in mind. Maybe that it's to pave the way for him, whispered the person next to him. They knew that Mu Lin was Lin Feng. Chapter 2438, Illusion Finger. The Lin clan was a clan in Diyu City. They were very strong. 2 people in the Lin clan were seated under a pavilion in the garden, playing chess. Some people were standing next to them and watching. "How long do you think we'll need to take over Diyu City?" asked a middle-aged man wearing a fire robe, while putting down his piece. "I'm sure it's feasible within 3 years, if they don't hide the whole time," replied his opponent. He was wearing fine golden clothes, and was also a middle-aged man. They were strong cultivators from the Empty Space Shrine and the Fire Shrine. The Lin clan was one of the territories they had taken over. "I bet we'll need less than 3 years," said the Fire Shrine Saint. "Last time, we already taught them a good lesson. If we have another opportunity to do the same a second time, they'll leave of their own free will." "I would prefer it if they stayed here forever," laughed the Empty Space Shrine strong cultivator, laughing. He suddenly frowned and said, "There's Sword Chi." The Fire Shrine strong cultivator also sensed it. His eyes glittered as he heard a sound in the distance. Sword lights flew past his shoulder, breaking and snapping sounds spread in the air. The ancient palace next to them crackled, a fissure appeared, and with a loud roar, the palace exploded. A huge trail appeared on the ground leading right through it. "Everybody, get ready to fight, inform the other military bases, and activate the teleportation portals," said someone coldly. They released their godly awareness as they rose up into the air. A few sword lights descended from the sky and moved in different directions, more fissures appeared on the ground. The saints in the sky looked furious. The Fortune Shrine was there to get their revenge. "Only one person is attacking," said the Fire Shrine Saint. "Watch out and remain vigilant. Wait for the others to teleport here and then we'll act together," said another cultivator. Very quickly, the deployment portals twinkled and figures appeared. Saint's strength filled the air. They moved forwards, but paused when they saw a figure in the sky. He was smiling icily as he said, "Scoundrels, members of the Lin clan, listen to me. The Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine decided to completely destroy the clan where the disciples of the Fortune Shrine were. They are cruel and decided to act with utter disregard for principles. We will definitely get our revenge. From now on, if you continue cooperating with them, we'll have no choice but to destroy you." Another sword light streaked across the sky, and a valley appeared through the very middle of the Lin clan. The crowd was astonished. What a disaster for them. The shrines were almost better off than those clans. "Capture him," some people flickered. They broke their deployment talismans, and appeared around Lin Feng. However, at the same time, Lin Feng disappeared. All that remained was some pale undulating energy. Deployment talisman. The group of strong cultivators frowned in astonishment. One of them said, "Follow the Empty Space Strength and chase him. He's alone." "I don't think he disappeared." The one who had just talked also disappeared, following Lin Feng. He reappeared somewhere else in the sky, but then frowned. The undulating strength seemed to be even farther, which meant Lin Feng was even farther away. He broke another deployment talisman. The group of people chased Lin Feng as fast as they could, but in the end, they still didn't find him. "Inform the other bases and tell them to be careful, the Fortune Shrine is attacking us by surprise. Tell them the members of the Fortune Shrine also have teleportation deployment talismans," said a strong cultivator. Everybody started contacting other people. Even though they hadn't lost any cultivators, it made them feel very nervous, especially since the enemy had tried to scare the clans of Diyu City by saying they would destroy them if they collaborated with the Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine. Very quickly, the saints of the Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine received messages about what had happened in the Lin clan. They had been attacked by surprise, so they had to be careful. The sky of Diyu City turned rosy red. It was a beautiful sight. Outside of the Hong clan, a group was walking in the direction of the Hong clan. Some people were staring at them. Threads of godly awareness appeared in front of them as they asked the group icily, "Who are you?" "Fortune Shrine's members," said Lin Feng smiled. The person who had just asked him that looked shocked, but then threads of death intent pierced through his body and he collapsed. More threads of godly awareness appeared, but Lin Feng also released his godly awareness, covering the sky of the Hong clan. "I'll be right back," said Lin Feng, breaking a deployment talisman. He reappeared somewhere else in the sky. Underneath him was a shimmering teleportation portal. A terrifying sword chi descended from the sky. Sword strength condensed all around him and slashed through the teleportation portal. "Stop him!" A group of people moved towards Lin Feng. "Break!" shouted Lin Feng icily. He moved towards the teleportation portal, sword lights showering down. There was a loud explosion as the portal was blown apart. What a powerful attack! The guards were astonished. The teleportation portal was extremely resilient. Low-level saints couldn't break it, but he had. How scary. "World," said a voice icily. A gigantic light curtain appeared in the sky and surrounded the area. It was a sealing world strength. 5 people, 2 low-level saints. The group of strong cultivators glanced at the intruders and finally saw them clearly. They didn't use any deployment talismans. They used deployment talismans only when they faced enemies stronger than them. Since Lin Feng and the others weren't stronger, they didn't elect to escape. "Hong Dong Lu, you and I fight against him." "You guys fight against the others," said an empty space shrine's low-level saint, staring at Lin Feng. That guy's sword attacks were powerful, 2 low-level saints had to join hands to fight against him. He let the fire shrine's low-level saints fight against the woman. In total, there were 3 low-level saints and 6 half-saints there. "Finish them as quickly as you can," said Lin Feng. Even though he had destroyed the teleportation portal, enemies could also come quickly, they had to fight and solve the issue fast. Lin Feng looked at Hong Donglu. That guy was probably a saint of the Hong clan, which meant that he was unlikely to be very strong. Lin Feng shot towards Hong Donglu, faster than the other would really believe. "Illusion," said Lin Feng. Hong Donglu was astonished. Illusion? Illusion strength filled the air, but he didn't feel like he was appearing in an illusion. Nothing happened. The low-level saint of the empty space shrine threw a golden hand at Lin Feng, trying to grab him directly. Lin Feng slapped the air in front of him, and energies rolled out towards the golden hand. The space around them shook violently. It contained earth strength and it was becoming more and more powerful. When it collided with the hand, the gigantic empty space hand exploded into pieces. "Hong Donglu, die," said Lin Feng, pointing at Hong Donglu. Hong Donglu withdrew, but sensed that he was slowing down. Lin Feng had released slow strength onto him and condensed fast strength in his finger. Hong Donglu looked a bit surprised. "Die," said Lin Feng. Hong Donglu was astonished. Lin Feng hadn't even gotten close to him and he was already attacking. "Be careful." Hong Donglu heard. He was stunned, something was ripping through his brain. His face paled as he stared at Lin Feng. He couldn't believe it. How is that possible? His brain exploded and he fell from the sky. He didn't even know how he had died. It was an attack Lin Feng had practiced for years. He created an illusion, but the enemy didn't know he was in an illusion. It was as if nothing changed around them, and then suddenly, Lin Feng was in front of them. Now Lin Feng had improved the attack because he had condensed even more sorts of original strength in his finger. The attack was shapeless, invisible, and intangible. The strong cultivators of the empty space shrine were astonished. How could a low-level saint have been so careless? Lin Feng had definitely used a terrifying attack. "Break free from this territory and disperse," said the low-level saint of the empty space shrine. They had to act promptly. They wanted to give up. He didn't feel like fighting against Lin Feng even if he was holding a saint's weapon. That you're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.